Oh my god. Are you Majira? I don't know why that's the first thing I say on yet another Boot Oot Doot live stream. Or as the Montbark likes to call me, Beetle, Eedle, de fucking Leedle. Look, it's been 30 seconds. I can swear now. Isn't that fun? Within the first 7 seconds of the video, you cannot swear, even still, on YouTube. Otherwise, you're demonetized for that video. Isn't that great? Don't you love the world we live in? Don't you love how everything is catered for children's entertainment? I mean, that, to be fair, that is technically the job. Without the proper description. That's just how it be. That's just, you know, the majority of folks that are, I guess, available. I guess available in terms of watching YouTube stuff. In terms of watching online entertainment. Not to say that a majority of the audience is youngins, but I'd like to think a lot of my topics are a bit more mature, and to be honest, I think a lot of the kids nowadays do not have the attention span to watch my stuff, and the fact that I'm still here doing this should just go to show you. There's a lot more to it than just being a ooh-woo cutesy eye candy YouTuber. Puphood's again. Again! Guys, remember when I had ended up doing that Puphood video? We're not going to be revisiting... Well, I guess we are revisiting drama. There's nothing really new. Well, I guess there is something new to talk about. It's more of the same stuff that we've discussed before. Just maybe a follow-up, an epilogue, a director's cut, a director's notes, comments, director's commentary, as it were, on that whole topic. But it's more of the discussion of, like, there's nothing honestly super new about it. But remember when I had done that video on Puphoods? I don't think I clarified it in the video itself, but I had recorded that video, I believe, a few months before. Like, few months before in that year. Then it was edited and put together. And ironically, I didn't even time this for when I was going to upload it. I had planned the upload during that month. And ironically, the Puphood Drama was happening at that point on Twitter. Again. And so I've kind of used that one post I've seen on Twitter where I've just quote retweeted it every time it happens again. And used it kind of as a, hey, come back and revisit the points of this video and go forward with it. So far, we are on part 2 of that video. Part 2 of announcing, because there was part 1 of saying it's happening again, and part 2 of saying it's happening again, which was this, this last, like, what day is it? Monday? Yeah, Monday or so. Not today being Monday. Yes, today's Wednesday. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday. Welcome to the middle of the week. Beta forgot to stream on Monday and Tuesday because he decided to do some cleaning adult stuff. As in, he just wanted to organize the wires at his desk. That was it. Also, thank you for the 45 bits, lamppost of the mountain. How many mainstream celebrities do you think are aware of you? I don't want mainstream celebrities to acknowledge my existence. That's like asking, hey, do you want people to perceive you more? Sadly, my job does it does entail or require to some extent folks to be aware of who I am, which sucks for me because I don't want people to perceive my existence. I want you to perceive my craft and what I do. I don't want you to perceive me, you know? It's a paradox. It is a conundrum. It is irony in its finest. My whole job is to some extent make people aware of my existence, yet I don't want you to perceive me most of the time. That's just life. That's just me being a fucking prude in general. I know I'm only 27, but I am getting there. Getting there in life. It's low self-esteem. No, it's just I hate people. Respectfully. You guys are lovely. I just want you to know. But, like, maybe it's because of my experience. Ooh, hold on. I'm getting a message. Oh, my roommate was offering me a slice of pizza. I'll respond to them right now. I got my stream notice out. Thank you for offering. I'm gonna send a hugging sticker just to seal the deal. Perfect. See? Howdy, howdy. Howdy, howdy, stalkers. Also, I do stuff. Thank you for the super chat. Look, I just kind of set that as a super chat YouTube goal because I am working super, super hard this next month or so for my trip to Austria, which actually, fun little fact about that, a month and 2 days from now, I will be leaving to go to Austria, and I'm so fucking excited for it. Oh my god. I just got shown pretty much the schedule for what I'm going to be doing, when I'm going to have, like, my panels, events, things that I have to do. I don't know how much I am able to say about what I will be doing, but there's going to be a lot on my plate, and I'm really, really excited, especially because it's going to be an overseas furry convention, and especially from what people told me, the food in Europe is so much better than in the US, and that is a big selling point for me. Okay, so I'm hyped. But thank you, I Do Stuff, for the $5 super chat. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate the support. And I will get to go to Austria. It's just, you know how travel expenses be. There's a budget for it, and, like, even though I did everything right with getting my flights and travel stuff, it is not cheap. Not cheap at all. Where you can mention furry. That was so loud. Is that supposed to be that? Oh, it's because it was a sound alert thing. Usually the redeem isn't as loud. But either way. But hello, everyone. Hi. I'm new here. Look, it always feels like I'm new here whenever I start streaming again for the week and skip a few days, because I'm just, as soon as I stop doing it for a bit, out of the loop. That's just how it be. But hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Thank you, Blue Bangle, for the 20 bits. Hello, Sleepy Electro. Hi, Waffles. I like that name, Waffles. It's adorable. This goes for any beta stream. I'm especially happy because there's a storm outside and betas make me happy. I heard there is a storm going around.
Maverick's feet.
If it's a very bad storm, please stay safe. Wait, is that hurricane that I heard about like a week ago? I don't know if it's like happening or if it's something else, but I heard everyone's experiencing different like super stormy weather recently. So if you are, please stay safe. Please wear your life jacket. I know that might not be fitting for the predicament. To be fair though, this is like the 5th time I've told it. For the sake of the meme, but I realize how bad it would be, I want to set up one of those bot accounts that automatically posts, like, or reposts something every time something is mentioned. I want to have a beta parody account where every time there's, like, a weather warning, like inclement weather, like, hey, flood warning, hey, tsunami, hey, hurricane warning, please stay safe, please, like, it would be in such poor taste to do this. I kind of, for the meme of it, want to make an account that quote retweets automatically whenever those posts are made and goes, hey guys, stay life jacket. Can you imagine how awful that would be? Like, in the moment, it sounds kind of funny. Like, oh, weather warning, oh, rain warning. Hey guys, stay life jacket. You know, just like, because it's the meme of what I say, stay life jacket. But when you put it into deeper context of like, oh hey, there's a hurricane warning, thousands of acres and miles, I don't even know measurements, okay? Thousands of miles of property in this area will be destroyed. Please take cover, please stay safe. Hey, flood warning, please stay safe. And a quote retweet saying, hey guys, stay life jacket. Like that's not in good taste. That really is not. That can age that's so poor to do in taste. That's so insensitive. So yeah, probably not going to do that. But it is an idea that I had for a sort of bot or parody account. So if anything comes up after that where it happens, it's not me. I want you to know it's someone else doing it. I just probably gave someone an idea for a really bad joke that I'll have to clarify in a YouTube video. That's if I want to, because to be fair, the amount of times I've been canceled on Twitter over something that I want to do a video on, but it's also like, why do I want to give them that attention? Why would I give them that satisfaction? But it wouldn't be. I don't know, just still. Either way. Regardless, little tangent. Hope you all are doing well. If it's storming by you, because I know some people say it's storming where they are, please stay safe. In all seriousness, outside of the stay life jacket stuff, please stay safe, please stay dry. And that's really it, Just do what you need. Guys, you'll probably die, but stay life jacket. See, you get it. Also, I saw you earlier in chat. Hi, Diego. If you're the Diego that... Look, I'm so bad with remembering names, or if you're the Diego that I play deadlock with or not, I just want you to know you're still the best Infernus main that I know. There was someone else that's name started with the D who was not an Infernus main but played Viper. Look, little TLDR, I've been on a deadlock kick recently, everyone. The MOBA game by Valve that's been in open alpha for like nearly a year now. And it's not in a good state. The game is not in a good state right now, sadly. So, hey, I still play it, and I subject myself to it, and then I have one good game. I'm like, oh, surely the next game will be good. And then I get decimated, and I get called slurs, and then I want to play another one until it gets better, and then it doesn't get better. And then I've wasted 2 hours, at least, of my life on 3 games that have gotten me nowhere, even in life. But you know what? I still have fun, because I've been playing with friends, been playing with my friends Bra and Monty and Electro and Diego. If you are the Diego, still here. Love playing games with y'all. Love vibing. The Marvel Rivals cycle, literally any competitive game cycle. But unfortunately, the state of deadlock, I think the biggest problem, 2 big problems in my opinion. One, there's no role queue. So you could have an instance, and this has happened many times, where you could have duelist characters, like really good initiators, in any sort of fight, all on one team versus all like support and like backup and CC characters. Which, somewhat, if you have a better team comp, you're going to win, regardless of skill. And then the other issue is it's kind of a dead game to the extent where only the folks that play it super, super competitively, which guilty's charge. There's not really any casual player base, which makes sense, sort of. Either way, that's my little ramble tangent on deadlock. That's what I've been doing with my life, not working on videos. What's your opinion on pausing streams? I think they're pretty cool. But yeah, you know, I've been chilling. I wanted to wait till stream today, or at least yesterday, to talk about a lot of the stuff that's kind of popped up online within the furry sphere. Not just like the Puphood stuff, which is happening again because of some weird infographic meme rage bait thing that everyone is arguing about but has achieved nothing at the end of the day, and sort of my point stands from the video that I did on it a few months back, which realistically is kind of the ultimate discussion on it from my perspective, from my sort of breakdown of it. Probably some stuff I missed with it because it goes into the... Because that's the whole thing with Puphoods. It always goes into the category or the subculture of, like, kink. And like, not that being relative to sex. You know, kink doesn't necessarily mean sex, and sex doesn't mean kink. And there's a whole breakdown of it that I don't even know about getting into, about, like, even kinkette pride to some extent. And that's, like... It's so hard to go down that rabbit hole because I myself am not fully educated on that manner, so I can't really come to some conclusion that with it that would be good or bad. But there are some points that I want to bring up that some folks have brought to me with the recent, I guess, drama going around with Puphoods, which we'll discuss today and talk about. Nothing, obviously, so sensitive or over the top. It's actually really cool. Like, someone put together their own, like, little Puphood design that really does kind of like blur the line between it being like safe for work and not safe for work. I'd argue that it's more safe for work than anything, and it's actually really cool looking. We'll look over it later, okay? We'll look over it later. But if you saw it on social media, you probably did. But outside of that, with the Puphood stuff, I want to talk about that Adam Savage, I think. I almost said Adam Diver, but I think that's someone else, so I don't know, but I've heard that name before. I want to go over that video about apparently he has a fursuit now. Didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know Adam Savage until someone told me about him. Yeah, I was not really someone who watched Mythbusters. Look, whenever the Discovery Channel came on, never watched Mythbusters, almost always watched A Haunting, the TV show that was so dramatized of, like, the hauntings, the ghosts, the demons in houses. And it was so not good. It was so awful looking back at it, but it was so fun for me, you know, as a kid, because I love, like, scary horror movie, get scared and piss my little panties stuff. You know, that's fun. It's fun now. But it's still just like, I liked watching that, so I never paid attention to Mythbusters. I really did not have any interest in it. But that's also just because my brain was like, no ghosts, no care. Also, hi, Fway. Poop youpie da loopy. We love Frey. Can we get a shout out for Fway in the chat? Any mods in the stream? I know Frey's not going to do it. And also, Frey, big congrats on hitting Twitch partner. Really proud of you. Really, really proud of you. I told you you would get it. Granted, it was a little bit later than I had predicted it, but still, I'm proud of you. When's your partner stream? When's your partner stream so I can show up and bother you like I always do? I mean, I was going to do that regardless outside of partnership. But thank you, Stalkers. I appreciate that. Frey, I miss your face. I can't wait to see you soon. And I hope you have a good time at Anthrocon. Because I think you're going. I don't know if you said you are or not, but I know the last few years you did. But if you do, I hope you have a good time. Because I will not be going. I'm saving money this year. I did get offered a spot in a room, but I'm just like, nah, I can't. Especially with my Austria trip coming up. Because again, little TLDR on that. I'm going to be gone for a whole week on the last week of July. From I think the 20th or so till the 28th. And it's going to be a long travel. I'm going to be exhausted. But I'm really looking forward to it. Really, really looking forward to it. So many pictures, so many foods that I'm going to try, so many new things I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a maid cafe thing. You know about the maid cafes where people get in fursuit, get in a maid outfit and serve food and talk to the guests at the table? I'm going to be doing that. I'm excited. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm going to try so many new things. I'm going to get to talk about in a video and discuss, maybe do a con vlog with it. I haven't done a con vlog in a hot minute, but could always give that a shot in the future. But yeah, that's it's exciting. I'm nervous about it because I haven't been overseas before, but I'm looking forward to it at the end of the day. Oh, I picked open a scab accidentally. Hope my leg doesn't bleed like crazy like before. But that's good though, Frey. I hope you have a good time at Anthrocon. And at the very least, I will be trying to do Megaplex at the end of August, which gives me ample time. Because I thought at first I was going to Austria or Austria at the end of August, which was around the time that Megaplex is, and I think it's literally 2 or so days. So I thought oh, I'm getting back from Austria, pass out for a few days, do laundry, repack, and then go straight to Megaplex. I would have been so exhausted, but I'm glad that I get that month in between to be able to do it, which I actually have to call to extend my room dates, because right now because they did the weird room system through the con weird, where they only had it available from Friday to Monday, I believe. But I obviously want to go from Wednesday to Monday. Megaplex is one of those cons, and I am enjoying it to the fullest of my ability while it's still technically a small con. So I got to call them and be like, hey, can you add another date onto it? So, yeah, and then I got to figure out my roommate stuff, which I have friends that'll be joining me. I'm excited. It's going to be a good week. Good weekend, so many cons to look forward to. I always love the latter half of the year because there's so much going on. Because in the first half of the year, especially in New England, there's nothing to fucking do. You have A&E, and then it's just wet and miserable and snowy for half the year. Then you have FWA, which is good, and then it kicks off kind of the latter half of the year because we're in the second half of 2025. It's actually kind of scary to think about that this year has gone by so quick, but I'm excited. I'm so excited. But yeah, I would love to just wander some places, but I'd probably get lost like an idiot. See, that's what I'm keeping in mind when going to Austria, which I heard somewhere that apparently Vienna is one of the safest cities in the world. At least that's what I was told. So I could just wander around if I want to, but I am not going to, and I also just do not want. My biggest fear, especially with going outside of the country for the first time, I am so fucking nervous about being a shitty American tourist, because you know how often you hear stories about that. I don't know, I just don't want to be that guy, and I know that I could inadvertently be that guy through being ignorant and not really knowing and doing something that I shouldn't. But you know, I'm still keeping it in mind, just trying to be courteous and cautious. But also, Femboy, thank you for the 2-1 sub. I appreciate that. Can we get some life jackets and BetaEtaDelota hearts in the chat? All the life jackets. And also, guys, on YouTube as well, if you join channel membership stuff, you do get access to life jacket emotes on the channel. But yeah. Check tipping culture. See, that's... I know in different countries, tipping culture is different. I know US is the only, complete asinine tipping culture that exists. Granted, I don't necessarily know for sure. But yeah, I'll have to check that out too. I mean, most of the time I am going to be glued to the hip of some local or some friend that I know that is there. Vex, who's the person that's going to be helping me out through Austria. gonna be like glued to his hip for like half the beginning of the experience, and then I'm gonna obviously be like traveling throughout Austria and all that. So I'm really excited. Hope you get some sleep on the flight. I can never get any and always crash from jet lag on the first day abroad. See, that's what I'm nervous about. But honestly, I am just gonna take a shit ton of melatonin. Yeah, it is melatonin. Melatonin, and just like conk out. I'm also thinking of buying. I'm thinking, because I do have potentially the budget for it, you know, caving in and spending a little bit more, like a little bit more for those extra legroom seats, so that I can just conk out and lay back, because the flight's going to be quite a while. So yeah. Edibles? Oh yeah, let's just get kicked out of the country as soon as like right into the flight. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that'll end so perfectly. Totally won't get jailed for that. Really just need to know your stuff and not have that American ignorance to the outside world, and you're fine. Well, that's the thing. I'm going into this experience not necessarily nervous, but excited to experience the new things. Like a sense of awe, but obviously caution with going into it. So that's why I'm like, hey, I want to learn. If I do something bad or not good, then I'd like to know. So yeah. But yeah. Every streamer that got flacked was actually trying to hurt and bother others for clicks. Okay, that's true. Obviously, my basis for others being in different countries, or Americans being in different countries, has been like Johnny Somali. Which is like, okay, I'm not Johnny Somali. I'm not like harassing people. I'm going elsewhere. The Megaplex flight prices went pretty low, but I didn't like the times, hoping they go down again this month. Okay, I might have to book my flight soon for Megaplex then, if the flights are low. Because usually my basis, if you want some like con travel tips, if you're looking to book flights, always go at about a month and a half before when you're supposed to travel. So for me, the go-to time for me to book my flights, the deadline would probably be, if I were to do Megaplex, which is end of August, I'd say like July like 10th, the week of July 10th, but like the Wednesday or Tuesday morning is when you want to book your flights, because that is the lowest price that they will be. Usually middle of the week, month and a half before your flight, or when you're supposed to leave. So that's usually a good basis. I usually do 2 months before. That works too. I did that especially for my overseas flight, because I didn't know how much the prices would go up in time. So that's why I'm like, okay, get them as soon as I can, the best time that I can, so that it doesn't, you know, keep going up, because you know how overseas flights are. But yeah, just a little bit of advice if you're looking for con travel tips. Not that they're really needed in this day and age, to be honest. Holy crap, how are there like 100 people here on YouTube? What the hell happened? Is it because I put Puphood Drama in the title? Is that why? Is that because why? Is that what happened? Is that why you're interested to see what I'm having to talk about with Puphood Drama? Yeah, probably. Look, people say YouTube algorithm bad. YouTube algorithm good, but you got to talk about the sad stuff. You got to talk about the controversial stuff. Not that I'm doing it because I have to, but because I like doing it. I want to. This is like fun, like discussing things in like a level-headedness with like my approach, and like kind of have a discussion about it. You can't have whatever discussion is going to happen here on Twitter. You just can't have that. That's why on YouTube, at least if I read chat, I can have a little bit of discussion from there. And even on top of that, we're not doing that. We're also doing Adam Savage stuff. Also, hi, Thomas. I hope you're doing well. Can we get a shout out for Thomas in the Twitch chat, if possible, too? Could we? We love Thomas. Hope you're doing well, Bean. I was lurking in your stream the other day when you're doing Beat Saber. Hope all is well with you. Once you pup the drama, don't stop. So I love you. I miss your face lots. Are you doing Megaplex? I want to see your face again soon. I know everything is kind of... I know you were at FWA, and I was like trying to look for you, and everything's spontaneous with trying to look for one another. But I hope I get to see your face again. You're always so lovely. You're so lovely to be around. I hope you know. Saw Puphoods at Pride. They're cool. They are cool. I want to get one day. I'd love to get like a custom Puphood. You got a Deku Redeem? Oh boy, I love it when I can't scroll on chat. See, that's the only downside to the chat that I use for dual streaming, is you can't scroll up and down between on OBS. You just gotta fucking deal with it, sadly. But real quick, let me see. Let me see. Where was it? Did I miss it? Oh. Well, I guess I can't see it. Could you repeat it again for me in chat, Lamppost? I can't scroll up, sadly. Literally, I can't. If I don't delete this redeem my next stream, I'll do 2 shots of Tabasco sauce. Okay, can it be 2 shots of, like, sriracha instead? Or, like, 2 shots of chili? Actually, no. Chili oil is gonna make me shit water. I don't want that. Look, you don't want to do regular oil. That's like, remember the Starbucks drinks with the coffee? Why am I so low to the ground? Let me be in front of the camera. This isn't, you know, it's supposed to be proper posture, not like slouching, like fucking, I don't know. Either way, look, it can't be, it has to be Tabasco. Okay, you know, I'll do it. Well, not because, you know, I'll do it as an incentive later. You say you wanted to delete it? I don't know. I don't know what I want to do anymore. You know me. Randomly, I'll shift around things on live streams and like, the quality of what I do in time, spontaneously. It'll never adjust properly. So, in time, I'll get rid of it. Just probably not when I'm supposed to. Just completely randomly. You'll just wake up one day and be like, oh, hey, it's gone. So, let's see. What did Soa say? I've got to work travel in August, so no Megaplex. We'll have to make plans for 2026. Do it. Honestly, if you have not been to Megaplex, please do so. But I'd love to see your face again. You're always so lovely to be around. Also, guys, I don't have a proper link for it, but Soa, if you would like to, because you're a mod here and can, Soa does phenomenal blogs and breakdowns on a lot of things relating to furry, a lot of things relating to cybersecurity, cryptography stuff, and I love reading his blog posts genuinely. I actually reference a bunch of them in my videos, so if you want to check them out, so if you want to leave a link to your blog for the lovely folks on YouTube, I'd love to have you advertise your stuff so everyone knows where I get inspired by some of the times with what I want to talk about. Because honestly, he does phenomenal stuff with writing his like articles, posts, blogs, and all that. Please do if you can, because I do literally go out of my way to read them, even outside of the ones that you link me. They're really, really good. You're good soup, I hope you know. Who the hell just messaged me on Telegram? Of course the face authentication thing doesn't work now. Bro! Now it works when I fucking do it up? Christ almighty. I hate you. I hate this fucking phone. It works only half the time I need to. Also, perfect. There it is. It's called Dull Moments. How do I pin this? Do I have to go to the YouTube stream? Is that how this works? Can I pin? Perfect. Pin message. Look, Soa does some excellent writing. I want you to, if you enjoy what I have to talk about in my videos, please go and read Soa's blog. He does a phenomenal job with writing about not just the controversies and furry stuff, but even just other stuff. I love listening to him. Or, I guess listening in the sense of reading, but you know how it'd be with me. I love listening in general, reading, learning new experiences. Just realize how much we make the most innocent things dirty. Hugs, for instance. I mean, that's... I don't think that's exclusively a furry thing, but you know what it means. You know how it'd be. Like, you could say, oh, what's an example? Why is my mind defaulting to hello, princess? What the fuck is on my arm? Why is there Is it Gochujang? That's Gochujang. Why is there Gochujang on my arm? The reason why I say Gochujang is because I was cooking up Gochujang marinated chicken earlier today. And it was phenomenal. My best work with marinating chicken so far. I baked it, perfectly cooked, so juicy. Oh, it was so good. But yeah, there's Gochujang on my arm. Don't know how that happened. I have absolutely no clue. But hey, you know, we're going to save that as a snack for later. Beta, you dirty pup. You dirty puppy. I love cooking. It's something that I've honestly tried to get better at. I fucking love cooking, but I suck at it. I suck at it, and it's a lot of work. And the one thing that I'm trying to minimize is the amount of cleanup that I have to do after. So that also makes it hard. Also, I realize I have like a paper towel right here that I can just like... That did absolutely nothing. Let's go. But yeah, the marinade was Gochujang, if you want to know. Okay, there's more people on my YouTube stream, and that's actually making me nervous. I'm feeling stage fright right now to some extent. Not that we're discussing anything super... Well, it's controversial to some extent. Just keep licking. You've got the flavor patch. I hate that. I hate that. Kind of reminds me of the whole wearing socks is more naked than wearing nothing. You know what? You're absolutely right. Same thing with undies. For some reason... But I guess... There's got to be some, like, effect. Some scientific effect related to that. Where if you put on more clothing, it makes you feel more naked. In the sense of, like, just furries. Like, fursuits and whatnot. If you put on underwear versus not wearing anything at all in fursuit, you're more nude. I don't know. You have some on your eyes? No, I don't. That's just the reflection of the glasses. My hair keeps doing weird shit. I love dirty minds to some extent, but these days it's so weird. Look, that's why I just, like... I just keep it all to myself, or at least I keep it on the appropriate platforms. You know what my saying has been whenever it comes to any of this stuff? And this is a saying that my friend Omnom from years back told me at, like, Denver 2019, when I was high as a kite, losing my fucking mind. He gave me a very good pep talk. And I really, really liked it. The best saying that I have heard with regards to anything relative to being a furry, I guess, content creator, influencer, anime in the streets, hentai in the sheets. That is the saying. Also, Ding is sorry to say, no, you cannot be saying your age in chat. That's just... No age talking in chat. That's against the rules. You read the rules before popping in the stream, right? No ages. No age. Goodbye. Sorry. That just be how it is. That just be how it is. Sorry. But that saying has helped me so tremendously, okay? Anime in the streets, hentai in the sheets. Keep it all to yourself, you know, time and place for everything. Professor Oak, there's a time and place for everything, but not now. That's the saying that I take with me whenever I'm just thinking about doing anything, whether it's a YouTube video discussing, like, any specific subject. I just try to be weary about how I discuss it and the nature of it. You know, you can crack jokes every so often, but not anything that's so out there. But at the end of the day, if I could really pick and choose it, I would just want to keep to, like, an adult audience in general. But, you know, it's just still... Just be courteous at the end of the day. That's just kind of the saying that I have had with it. And that applies to any specific, I guess, controversy, drama of this being the, you know, the Puphood thing. Honestly, my stance on it hasn't really changed. You know, let cons be the deciding factor on whether or not it should be allowed or not. If you really want to enjoy it and you're not being suggestive in nature about it, that's fine. You know, just understand who you're interacting with and understand who might be around. Keep that in mind with how you conduct yourself. That is literally it. That is literally it. That's it. Because the whole thing with Puphoods has been, in my opinion, a little bit of a gray area. Yes, it does come from kink, and it has an intrinsic nature of it, but people use it outside of that as a sense of what's the word? Fuck. I'm like blanking now on like a good point. Fuck! Sucks. What is it? Furries lacking tact? Me. Self-expression. Thank you. Self-expression. Yeah, it is, believe it or not, in some ways, a form of self-expression for folks. Actualization does work too. Okay, but on the other hand, there's no Gochujang on the other arm. There's no Gochujang. Puphoods are inherently fetishistic, but that doesn't make them inherently NSFW. That too. See, it's like, that's where it is. It's like a gray area for how everyone treats it. Damn, gray area does that to you too? Oh, that's when you meant on the other hand. Well, no Gochujang on the other hand. Also, thank you, Lamppost, for that. Hey, you just announced to your entire room if you had speakers going that you're watching a beta stream. Either way. Look, I'm sorry about your ears. That just be how it is. But, point being, the whole argument about Puphoods has always been kind of the same. It's either those that don't like it and have some reason for not liking it, folks who like it but have some reason for not wanting it to be out and about, folks that like it and have some form of self-expression with it. It all comes from different points. I've found... Jesus Christ. I can't talk. Oh, what a horrible day for me to choose live streaming when I just can't speak. But what I've found with it, especially when it comes to anything that does have notes of NSFW, sexuality, sexual expression, I've found that a lot of the times, and this is, take this with a grain of salt, this is just from my perspective, from my understanding of how I've seen social media change in time, I've found a lot of times that for a lot of folks, especially in the younger generation, I feel the act of feeling a certain way, especially when it comes to discomfort, should dictate what should or shouldn't exist, and should or shouldn't be around, period. And that obviously is subjective in and of itself, but with regards to Puphoods, I've heard and seen where, oh, this thing makes me uncomfortable, therefore it shouldn't exist, and it shouldn't exist in my peripheral, shouldn't exist in my experience. And pair that, with the furry fandom being, for a lot of people, an escape, so everyone's going to be a lot more, to some extent, selfish about their own experiences in it. That can dictate how people feel about even the smallest fucking matters. In this case, Puphoods being a revolving fucking subject, no matter how much it's been argued or debated, because at the end of the day, everyone's going to have their own opinions on it, and they're going to stick to it. I've stuck to mine. Granted, mine has moved in time. I think I talked about this a little bit in the video that I did on it. But if you remember, back when I joined the furry community, I did see Puphoods around at cons. And I saw them, I didn't really know what they were besides like the name or what the meaning behind them was. But they did, at the time, creep me out a little bit. I thought it was a little bit creepy, like it was like a mask, and you could see the person's eyes behind it, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird and creepy. But like, I didn't obviously vocalize it because I knew, okay, everyone has their own feelings with it, and like, my mentality was, oh, if I really don't like Puphoods, and I thought about this in my mind of like, if it really does make me that uncomfy, which it didn't, it was just more of like, oh, it's just weird and different and new for me. If it makes me that uncomfy, I just avoid it or remove myself from that situation of having to be in that peripheral, to have that around me. And that's what I kind of promise myself whenever it comes to anything like that. Just remove yourself in terms of comfortability. If you are in a space of someone doing something that they are comfortable doing and that it is an open, self-expressive thing, all the power to them. I just kind of do my own thing with it, and that's it. But in time, I learned more about it, and I'm like, oh, I've had no problem with Puphoods. In fact, I wore one actually this last FWA. Yeah, one of my friends, Kobe, had their friend's Puphood on them, and since I gave Kobe my fursuit head, I got to try on a Puphood, and honestly, it's cozy as fuck. I'm gonna be honest, like, the big thing about it, it's really fucking cozy. I'd argue it's a little bit cozier than wearing a fursuit, and some of the pics that I have in one actually isn't bad, because at the time I had been full suiting. This was right after the Moonlight Festival and like the night market. I had gotten in like my attire. I wore like my fursuit with my jock strap and harness. That was just what I wore for the After Dark area section of the FWA Moonlight Festival. So after that, we had come back to the room. We were like desuiting. I was like partially desuiting. I still wanted to stay in suit because I was comfy in my attire. And so I was reverse poodling to some extent. So I had everything else on but my fursuit head. And then Kobe gave me his Puphood, or his friend's Puphood, and I put that on. I'm gonna be honest, that fucks on an entirely different level. I know, like, the whole thing of, like, reverse poodling is, like, a thing, but, like, having the Puphood on with the rest of the bodysuit, that kind of fucks on a whole different level, because I took some pics in that, and I vibe it. I vibe with it. I like it. I was prairie dogging, pretty much. I liked it. It was cozy. It looked good, at least from my perspective. And at the end of the day, I was just like, hey, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You should show the pic? Absolutely not on stream. Maybe on, like, social media later, just to, like, post it and then go away for a bit and then come back a few days later where everyone stops being angry at you. But even then, you know, when I was wearing it, it just looked pretty neat. I liked it. It's not one of those things that I think, you know, everyone can obviously think of the same way as I do. And I definitely think it should be, to some extent, for, you know, adults, obviously. But it's a weird gray area with what it is. Puppets are okay. I'd rather see them in the hot tub than actual fursuit heads. True. You know, that too. I like, you know, time and place for that. Especially at Megaplex with, like, the pool area. I worry with all those, granted, I did wear my fursuit head around the pool. I did worry about having fursuit heads near the pool like that, and all the photos being taken, people with phones in their hands at the pool. I was worried how many phones got, like, destroyed just from an accidental slip and it falls in the pool, or, like, something with a fursuit head where it gets damaged because it's in the pool or something. That's the only thing that worried me about that. But either way, I did get to wear a Puphood for the first time at FWA. And it was really nice. It kind of sealed the deal for me wanting to get one of my very own at some point. But again, you know, later time, whenever I have disposable income, which is not now, or not really at all. But yeah, and it's not me, like, kind of advertising it to be like, oh, you should get a Puphood. It's just more of my own experience. It's like, oh, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. I'd wear one again. I'd get one. I remember the whole secret fursuit thing. Why not secret Puphood? I'd probably work. Yeah, I remember I had, like, a secret Fursona and secret fursuit. I also just kind of stopped caring, but that was because I was strictly like, oh, I don't want people to think that I do adult lewd stuff as a content creator, when at the end of the day, every adult content creator, you know, does that or enjoys that in their free time. It's called being an adult and having your own life, and if you have a problem with that, that really fucking sucks for you. That, I'm sorry to say, that really fucking sucks for you. Oh no, my image of my favorite creator. But yeah, you know, it's just one of those where I just stopped caring. I'm like, oh yeah, this is my Sona. He's the kinky guy. He's pretty neat. Also, speaking of, I just went to check Twitter real quick. I know you guys have been asking about the paw review that I'm going to be doing with Two Piece. First off, I love Two Piece. Dior, Two Piece. Phrase Taint? Oh yeah, I forgot that's the count. Hi Phrase Taint. Dior, Two Piece, lovely bean. I love him to death. We're going to be doing our, hopefully, collab stream to do the paw review, paw rating and review tomorrow. I still don't know how to set it up with the green screen and VR chat and all that, but we'll get there with working on it, maybe. But worst case, we end up doing it next week or so. It's just I thought Thursday would probably be the best day for me to do it, but I know that's literally after streaming today, so yeah. Yeah, but still, I want to do that at some point soon, so keep on the lookout for that. Well, it'll be a fun little paw review thing after Paw Day. I got a cheap-ass Puphood, but I just don't like it as it's kind of just incredibly tight. Maybe I need to get someone more custom or premium. Usually, if you get something more custom or premium, that's like, if you spend more money, the better quality will be. Granted, that's not always reflective of everything, but, you know. Not a fan of Puphoods personally, but if they're minding their own business, not bothering anyone, I'm not going to care. Literally, like, that's just kind of what it comes down to. You can have your own preference on it. You can like it, not like it. It's just like, they're doing their own thing. That's really it. That's it. I don't know what kind of Puphood I would get. I've seen a bunch of different designs, a bunch of really cool designs. One that I'm going to be showing today that someone used as an example of like a safe for work custom-made Puphood, which I guess qualifies as a Puphood, but it's not exactly, you know, intrinsically used for kink or fetish or sexual adult stuff, you know? Just get a Puphood on Amazon? No, I'm not going to get it off Amazon. I'd rather get it from like a direct company because I also don't know where that's coming from. Do you know how many resellers are on there? And we'll just sell shit like that. I'd rather get it from like the actual creator, maker. And if then, I'd probably get it for cheaper. Also remember to hydrate. I don't have a hydrate redeem. But remember to drink water. I've been talking for a bit. But yeah, with regards to that, I guess drama that's resurfacing again because someone did an infographic thing drawing parallels and basically creating sides again in the furry fandom again, which is just, goes to show how Twitter be. Regardless, I'm going to briefly go over it today, basically why the Puphood drama is happening again, and what I've learned, or I guess seen from the aftermath of my video on Puphoods and all that, which again, my feelings on it don't change. Comes down to comfortability at the end of the day. Let those in charge make the changes or dictation of how things should be. Like at furry conventions, I'm sure it just kind of comes down to don't be lewd out in public. I know there's all like drawing parallels of like it's intrinsic in nature. Yeah, Puphoods are intrinsic in nature for being fetish gear, but at the same time, it's a gray area for some folks with what they do with it. I know there's a little weird point of it. It just kind of depends on how you go about doing it. So my basis has always been just like let cons decide it, and let those who wear Puphoods to some extent decide what is appropriate and what isn't. And if they aren't being appropriate with that, it's kind of your job to communicate that as well. That's kind of like the point of it, at least from what I've understood. Let people be their own deciders of like what is anime in the streets, hentai in the sheets, sort of thing. We're doing this wrong. We need to make our own infographics to get ahead of the discourse cycles. Degraded to absurdity preemptively. Whiskers are now a red flag. Runs away. You know what? I kind of like that. We make our own that are just as stupid. See, that's why I just kind of like post my own things, and then I just leave Twitter for a bit, and then I just come back later. And I'm like, oh, this is better. Literally, I cause my own ruckus, and then I leave. Because I realize it's not worth arguing on there. I've realized as well, I know furry Twitter and like social media with like Twitter in general is like the hub for everyone interacting with one another. It's kind of like the, to some extent, go-to spot for furries. I know there's Blue Sky, I know there's Telegram group chats and Discord group chats, but in terms of just being able to see all these different people on social media, Twitter is kind of been the go-to for everyone. So with that in mind, you're going to get a lot of conflicting opinions. The more you experience and the more you expose yourself to social media, the more you're going to see people who just constantly are miserable or constantly argue with one another. That's just how it is. So with it constantly growing as well, you're going to have a lot of people just disagreeing with one another at the very basis, and then it goes to so many deep extremes. And so that's why each year, even though the Puphood drama is pretty much the same as it is every fucking year, it leads to nothing. It changes nothing, ultimately. It's just arguments back and forth. There's obviously two sides with it. There are those that see it in however they do. Preference, distaste for it, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really change anything. It just makes people kind of angrier at one another. It doesn't change anything with how cons are run. It doesn't change anything with how people interact with each other in person, because truthfully, most of the people who are so outraged on social media, I'd like to argue, are non-confrontational in person. That is just how it is. And most of the time, they're not even going to cons in the first place. Like, let's be real. The only contribution that some folks have is arguing on Twitter. That's it. That's it. But regardless of that, if you kind of minimize your experience to social media in general, I feel like you're going to be a little bit happier. Sorry, I'm going on a weird tangent with this. I'm not really explaining myself as well as I could. Also, hi, Snibs. I hope you're doing well. Meowdy howdy. Hope you're well. We love Snibs. How long has the drama been going on, though? I thought Puphoods were relatively new, but I'm pretty out of the loop. They've gained popularity definitely in the past few years. I remember there was Puphood drama back even before I joined the furry fandom in like 2017, something with MFF. It was in Artemis Wishfoot's video where he kind of compared and contrasted pups to furries, or fursuiters to puphoods, and so on. And so I'd like to think that this controversy, this argument, has been going on for at least a decade now. I'd like to argue probably a decade now or so, and it still is going, and if anything, it's just getting more and more noisy. Like, we're starting to realize, obviously, that there's going to be no solution to it. It's just going to keep being a constant argument of those that like it, that don't like it, that say it should exist in con spaces, that say it shouldn't exist in con spaces. But I don't think there ever is any extra measures taken to try to make that change in the real world. It's just like theoretical complaining, And usually it results in making people feel bad about either having a Puphood or wanting a Puphood or not liking Puphoods or so on. It's just like, all that really, even my video to some extent, a lot of the comments just end up being less about like explaining the logistics of like, oh hey, this argument was good, and just goes straight into the, I hate Puphoods, they look ugly, or people with Puphoods should be insert awful thing here. And it doesn't achieve anything. Like, it just villainizes people to the extent that you shouldn't. All over a fucking, like, leather, whatever, hood. Over a fucking mask that has some intrinsic points to it, or might even be having this projection of sexuality put onto it when it might not even have that from the wearer to begin with. But again, you know, that's just social media. Everyone's in each other's business whenever you put it on social media. That's just how it goes. And so a lot of it is going to be blown up a lot more on social media than it actually is in person, because anytime Puphoods have been at a con, I don't think it's been an issue unless you go to Twitter. I don't think it's ever been an issue. Unless there's something happened at a con that I just don't know about, you know? I think Puppets have been a thing since the thousands. That makes sense. Also, Snibs, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Can we get some life jackets and BetaEtaDelota hearts in the chat for Snibs? Snibs, you're good soup. I hope you're doing well. Look, if you were here, I'd give you some of the Gochujang chicken that I made earlier. I think you'd love it. It's so spicy and so flavorful. I did like a honey, soy sauce, and Gochujang marinade with the last that I had in there, so I had to order more. But seriously, thank you, Snibs. I appreciate the donation. That's very generous of you. I'm using that straight for a Woostry. I hope you know I'm saving with that. So thank you so much for that. It means a lot. And I hope you're getting some good rest. I know you're eepy. I know you work hard in big eepy, but take care of yourself. Remember what I said. Give yourself a gift each day. Okay? Do that. I believe it all comes because Puphoods come from kink. Yeah, I think that... See, that's the reason that kind of goes with it. But I think a lot of what is charged with it, or why it becomes a point to begin with, is because the view of it, how it looks to some people, it makes them uncomfortable. Like, oh, it doesn't look good, or it looks ugly, it doesn't look great, or they don't like it themselves. So that reason is like the grasp at it. And that may or may not be a problem with how relative to the actuality of how it is in practice. Like, that's why I say not that these problems aren't valid with wanting to keep, you know, spaces safe for work and safe for work spaces and differentiate the two. But when it comes to in practice, I have never seen it as an actual big issue at cons, unless there have been, and I just haven't been aware. You know, in practice, some things are different than how they appear online or are on paper to some extent. Food always looks yummy, and you're very welcome. And a thank you. I appreciate that, Snibs. On the Puphood stuff, people should just leave it alone. It really ain't that deep, and honestly, most folk are hypocritical in the sense of what they judge about it. For the most part, furries do anyway. Yeah. Like, that's just what I found. Like, the basis for a lot of, even why furry drama becomes as big as it is one, because the community cares so much about the community. People love it. People love being in it. It's an escape for many people. It's a safe space. Their safe space. So whenever some big controversy happens or something they disagree with happens, in a general sense, it becomes a lot bigger than it should be, or it becomes more of a personal attack. Like, not liking Puphoods to some extent could be a personal attack on others who enjoy Puphoods. And it really does nothing to solve whatever the issue is to begin with. With understanding, hey, you know, comfortabilities are comfortabilities. Comfortability doesn't mean that it's fact either. There's a lot of nuance that's missing in between, and with the... I guess with how the landscape of social media is, some folks think they know how everyone works, when, trust me, the real world is so far different than how social media is in every single little way, okay? So just keep that in mind. Whenever I've been to a con or seen people wearing Puphoods, it's never been a problem. You don't have, like, the fucking preteens or 19-year-olds yelling, like, Puphood, you shouldn't be wearing that at a con. Most of the time, they are quiet, or, like, taking pictures of it in the distance and tweeting it to their oomps or moots, and it's just like, okay, whatever. That's why a lot of times when it comes to this shit, I just, like, tone it out. Like, I've done my discussion, I quote retweet the video so that people listen to it and maybe change their minds, maybe give their own thoughts and opinions in a constructive manner, because you're not going to get that on Twitter, and granted, you're not going to get much of it on YouTube. But at least try to learn. I try to give the sources to research. At least from how I try to do it. That's really it. That's why I see it like, Puphoods as being a form of self-expression. That's really it. That's it. But I know for some folks it's a bit more than that. It's just weird. It's just a weird in-between. It sucks. There's no easy answer for it because you can't please everyone when it comes to a subject like this. And again, this is just one subject out of the several different ones that happen at cons. And also thank you, Lamppost, for the 45 bits. I'm trying to at least talk about things in the best way that I can, and I don't know if I'm doing the best job about it. But either way, for reference, for how all this kind of started, to go straight into the thing with it. Also, look, it's Twitter. This place sucks. I hate it here. But yeah, I ended up quote retweeting saying it's happening again, part 2. And the context of it was, okay, we're going to go over this later because this is really fucking cool. Someone, like, Good Boy Golden, I've been seeing their stuff pop up on my feed. Their fucking Puphood looks sick. It looks so good. Again, more of a blurring the lines between it being a kink, which it really isn't, and more of a self-expressive thing. So, like, where is the line? What do you draw the line with that? And so, we'll discuss this later, but how it all came up, first off, I fucking love the cycles. Went from Puphoods to gear at cons. Oh, look, we're going backwards. It was poodling last week. And now it's Puphoods this week. We're going backwards. Isn't this great? I love this. Oh, what a fucking amazing world we live in. I love social media. But yeah, we're literally going backwards with this furry drama cycle. When does it end? It never ends. It never will, I don't think. But still, something to consider. Going backwards now, according to the cycle. But with regards to the subject of it, wherever it might be, where was it? Hold on, I want to make sure I'm not showing anything I shouldn't. So from the original tweet, this was it. Okay, this little infographic thing that came up. Look. I don't know, whenever I've seen this art style, something controversial is gonna happen. I don't mean anything against this artist. They're probably a super chill guy. They're probably super chill, okay? I love some of their memes. It's really, really funny. But every time I see this style, I just know some shit is gonna come up. And it's happened multiple times. Granted, I don't help with that either. And I'm not helping with that now. But this infographic meme thingy popped up. And this is what started the Puphood drama as we already have seen and known. Because what it ultimately does, and you can take how it's interpreted in different ways, I just see that it draws two sides to it. Fursuiters or fursuits with, like, how people view, like, the furry community and how it is versus, like, Puphoods and how some people don't like it or see it as not a great thing. And again, it just, like, stuff like this doesn't serve to try to bridge the gap in the community. It just kind of puts a barrier with it. Just draws lines. Puts ultimatums in the way. And it just sucks. It sucks whenever this happens. But I can understand this could maybe be considered a joke at the end of the day for how absurd some of the Puphood drama ends up being. But with how it goes, the first part, fursuits, you have different fursuiters, animal characters, Space Mouse. I kind of want that shirt. I actually have kind of a shirt like that. You have Peanut the medic. You have Aviator J. I like him because he's got the goggles on. The adventure goggles are good. And then Jessie the cowgirl. So you have fursuits. What I'm assuming the intention of this is it's supposed to showcase, oh, look at all the different fursuiters and different vibes that they have with their characters versus Puphoods. John Pup, Mike the Pup, Pup Jez, Jake the Pup. And I guess I'm not sure what this is supposed to achieve. Is it supposed to make Puphoods seem like, oh, they're not different? Like, I get to, like, a very comedic manner. Differentiation between, like, Puphoods versus, like, fursuits, where a lot of Puphoods, they can seem like the same. Like, just wearing Puphoods in general, which is absolutely, funny. I think that's just how it is. You can't not everyone can have, like, a custom Puphood, and there's only so much you can customize with it. So it's just like, oh, they do kind of look similar at the end of the day. But you also have to consider, I'm going to be honest, we're even at that point with fursuits too, where some of them do look the same. Do you know how many Apollo dogs I know? Do you know how many, like, red and white fox fursuiters who I know, who I've mistaken for other red and white fox fursuiters? I've mistaken so many friends from one another just because their fursuits look very similar, or just very similar color patterns. But again, you know, I'd like to hope that this isn't supposed to be, at least the intention from the artist isn't supposed to be, oh, Puphood's bad. But I can understand how it can come across, you know? And so this ended up sparking, yet again, the Puphood drama of like, oh, Puphoods aren't valid, or Puphoods aren't good, or people use it as like a point of like, oh, people use this, I guess some furries were using this as a point to shit on Puphoods or Puphood suitors, or those that wear it as a form of self-expression of like, oh, hey, you know, us versus them. Which to some extent, you know, yes, Puphoods and the pup community is separate and a separate thing from the furry community, but there is overlap. But drawing the parallels of us versus them is not exactly good to do. And that obviously creates the drama that happens, where some folks take this as an opportunity to shit on Puphoods. Or some people use it as an opportunity to say that Puphoods aren't valid forms of expression, or use it to throw their own distaste towards it, towards whatever the drama or controversy is. So yeah. And actually lots of customizations now for hoods now. Colors, neoprene, leather, fur, felt, Eva base, etc. Not just Mr. S, you got grunge bunny, scrapyard leather, etc. There are all sorts of new things now. Oh yeah, that's not even including like outside of just the pup hoods, like the dog pup hoods. There's a lot more to it and a lot more differentiation with it, because it is supposed to be, for some, outside of kink, a form of self-expression. That's how you've seen, I feel like it, from the video, from what I discussed, it's evolved. The meaning of what pup hoods are has evolved past not just it being a kink. And I know the same thing to some extent can be drawn with fursuits. It's just, I don't know how much time or what needs to be done to pull away this idea for those that want to wear a pup hood as self-expression that it isn't kink-based, or it isn't supposed to be a sex thing. So I don't know what needs to be done or what's going to happen, but at the end of the day, I just kind of feel like, oh, just if you ignore social media, it gets a little bit better. Yeah. Have we already covered how Puphoods can be really varied and customized with one another, or how some people have full pup outfits that make them stand apart? Oh yeah, there's plenty. It's just the example that is used here with regards to the base Puphoods that you see very commonly is just like the black and red, black and white, black and green. And it's just a lot of the kind of same. Not to say that that's not valid, but I feel like the nature of this, you know, it kind of groups in and generalizes people. And so obviously folks can be and get upset about this, and it obviously sparks drama that kind of differentiates from the point of what the intention was with this. So that's why I think with the clarifying here from the artist, don't wear Puphoods, or do whatever the fuck you want, I'm not your dad. That's just more of them saying like, oh hey, whatever this drama is with Puphoods, I don't really care. It kind of, I feel like it differentiates from the point of what they were saying. But also, like, to be fair though, yeah, I do know a lot of furries that are kind of the same flop-eared dog. Not that there's anything wrong with it, or it's less valid. It's just, it kind of, you know, I don't know. It's just like, I already discussed this drama. I was done with it, man. I already discussed it. Is this a sex thing? I don't know, Janice. Is poetry? Wikipedia says yes. Why not shark hoods? Okay, those I'd like to see. I've seen a couple of folks get these kind of like inflatable neoprene hoods that are like, that look like a shark. I would show it if it wasn't obviously from a strictly NSFW account, but it looked so fucking sick. I want to see more of those. I want to see more of those. I know some of you want to make more of them and want to wear them. So do it.
One whole year, yeehaw.
Also, thank you, Medley. Thank you for the 12 month. Thank you for the whole year of resub. I appreciate that. Can we get some life jackets and BetaEta hearts in the chat? Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, we're just kind of discussing this controversy that happens year after year, months after months. I guess the encompassing term pet play in general has really expanded. Pups, kittens, teen. I don't know what that other one was, but horses, etc. Yeah, it's definitely expanded in terms of the nature of it. Hyenas, yeens. I have seen a couple of yeens before. But yeah, when it comes to this, it's just kind of the same thing that I keep seeing over and over again. It's a lot of this is a problem based on projected comfortability. But when it comes to the comfortability of Puphoods being around or not, you know, it's an easy solution of just remove yourself from the situation or go to an event that doesn't have or allow Puphoods. It's just kind of, there's easy solutions, but I feel like the way they are discussed or argued about online, they're definitely seen as bigger problems. Hoods can help people feel more attuned to their Sona when getting a fursuit is unavailable for them. It helps with getting into the headspace in a non-kinky way too, if I make sense. Yeah, no, it does. For a lot of folks, it does. In fact, actually, the original post that I saw with this, that someone wanted me to point out, if I were to do a follow-up video, which I'm not doing a follow-up video, just doing a live stream recap with this. This person reached out and left a reply with their Puphood that blurs the lines with this. Of, like, it differentiates from the original point of, like, oh, Puphoods versus fursuits. This is, like... This is really fucking cool, first off. I love this. This is, in my opinion, the non-kinkiest, non-kink, non-sex-related Puphood out there. I fucking love this. It looks badass. It looks really cool. Also, I fucking love those paw shoes. Like, 10 out of 10 right there. The shoes look so good. This dude's a vibe. I've been seeing their stuff pop up on my feed. I actually haven't followed them, I don't think, so just gonna drop them a follow real quick. I love their stuff. It looks so fucking good. But this literally is, this serves as an example, and I guess you could look at this and ask, like, what is this considered then? If it is sexual in nature, how? What are you seeing in it that's being sexualized in this when nothing is being sexualized at all? Is it because it's a Puphood and by nature Puphoods are sex for some folks or fetish? It's just weird, and it's just, you very much have to look at it. This serves directly that you cannot bunch this all up into one thing where all Puphoods are this one thing, because this is an example where it is not a fetish, it is not a kink, it is a form of self-expression in its rawest form. So, the solution here is you got to look at it on a case-by-case basis. Is this person using it as a form of self-expression, or are they using it as a kink? And or not a kink, sorry, a fetish, because I know there's a differentiation between, like, something being a kink and it being sex-related. There is a line between that as well. So with this would be seen as a form of self-expression. However, it would also be a Puphood in nature. It's a Puphood that's custom made as a form of self-expression. It differentiates. It's an outlier from what people consider Puphoods to be intrinsically in nature sex-related, or NSFW, or by nature for adults. Which, granted, yes, I feel like adults should be wearing Puphoods in general, not kids. Just saying, I did see a couple of comments where people said, like, oh yeah, this person is a kid who has a Puphood. I'm like, I don't know. Do they know? I mean, at the end of the day, as long as they're not doing anything and people aren't interacting with them in that way, that's good. But still, yeah. But this is an example where literally nothing is black and white. As much as we've seen the drama come up time and time again, where it's like, Puphood's good or Puphood's bad. Puphood's this, Puphood's that. This blurs the line between the two and shows a very clear-cut example where I don't know how anyone could see this as a sexualized thing. It makes you realize, and hopefully this is the conclusion that people have with this, that you can't group everyone together and you need to look at it by a case-by-case basis. And so with that in mind, how do you do that? Do you really question, oh, is this person doing it because it's a fetish thing? You don't know that. You do not know that, and you will never really know that. You never will. And so the solution, which kind of goes back to what I believe in with this, let it be up to the individual wearing it, and if they are not acting appropriately in a space that is safe for work, report it. Talk to the con about it. Do your due diligence instead of complain about it on Twitter. I can almost guarantee that half the people that complain about Puphoods bad, they're ugly, they shouldn't be in safe workspaces, will never ever do their diligence with reaching out to a con about their concerns or looking to curate their own space in the community for the supposed betterment of everyone else, They're just gonna sit and complain about it on Twitter. That is it. And that's why I've seen this as stupid fucking drama at the end of the day. It doesn't achieve anything. It just creates sides. It does not try to bring the furry fandom together. It does not try to make this a welcoming community. It just shows that people have insecurities they project onto one another, on what they see, on what they want to see in the community, and they can't just either understand, okay, comfortability is different from how things actually are. I need to suck it the fuck up, or I need to make my own experience instead of project my own insecurities onto others. I know I just rambled on and made no sense. But still, it's just literally just like there's so much more to be doing than focusing on this. This is why I'm kind of frustrated that I'm even covering this. I want to, but I'm also realizing this is kind of a waste of time at the end of the day, because it's not going to change minds, it's not going to achieve anything, and then ultimately there's so much other shit to be worried about. This is a non-issue. Puphoods are a non-issue. They've been. Let it be handled at cons, and if cons are doing it incorrectly, reach out accordingly. Literally, just be an adult about it. Being an adult means not initiating or arguing with people on Twitter. That's what I've realized too. I've stopped arguing with people on Twitter. I've stopped trying to argue. I've stopped replying. I'm just not even bothering with any of it. It's so stupid. And when it comes to this, it only just gets bigger. There's more and more people talking about the Puphood drama because the furry fandom and social media is growing more and more each day. There are more people initiating with this. Like that. Exactly like that. All that yelling. All that. It's just like, at the end of the day, mind your own business. You can have your own comfortabilities with Puphoods. You can think this is creepy or weird or not want to see it. It's called don't interact with it. It's called you can't control if people want to enjoy that at cons or not. If this being at a con or in the furry fandom is a make or break for you, that's a you problem. That is called you need to fucking reflect. Maybe see sorry if I'm using this in the wrong way. Probably need to see a fucking counselor about it, because some people get way too fucking heated about this being in a convention space at cons. Sorry, some of y'all need to like talk to someone about this, or job. But no, in all seriousness, I've seen people literally get pissed about shit like this at cons. And it's infuriating, because all it really does is just like, it's just frustrating. I feel like I've talked this pretty much everything that I want to about this. The actual post itself from the original, from Mango Yina, you know, I can assume that this was intended to be funny. It wasn't supposed to be doing anything controversial or trying to bring up the drama. But how it reads and how it can be interpreted from others can lead it down us versus them. Puphood's bad. Puphood's not at cons. Puphood's invalid. Puphood's kink. Puphood's fetish. Whatever. And then it just constantly creates the cycle of bickering where people are like, I don't like Puphoods. They make me, they're really weird. They shouldn't be at cons. Puphoods aren't actual fursuits, or people, well, yeah, they're not fursuits. Or Puphoods shouldn't be worn at con spaces, or people who wear Puphoods are ugly and awful. And it's like, I don't know. Some people are just going to be that way as is. I just kind of see situations like this to be the fuel on the fire to giving people the invite to self-validate themselves on their feeling for and against Puphoods, which at the end of the day, I get that it might give you the serotonin, the dopamine boost from the likes and retweets, but don't do it off of controversial stuff, because then you're just going to have people not like you anymore. And it's just, you don't want to draw these lines, you know, when you haven't even fucking met people either. It sucks. Anyways, things are getting heated. Should we go to r/furry struggles or something? Maybe one day. Maybe one day we'll return there, just not today. We are going to talk about something good though after this, which I've wanted to do a stream or video on earlier, but didn't get around to doing it. So we're doing it on this stream. So yay. And also thank you, Cade, for the €5 super chat. I appreciate it. We need to ban tails from furcons because some people find them hot. See, exactly. You could do the same thing. Oh, people like tails? Well, ban them from cons because people see it as a kink or fetish. I guess the only differentiation that people are taking from it is that Puphoods, by nature, are fetishistic. But again, the idea, the definition of what they are and what they mean to who wears it is changing. That is what's changing about it. And it is up to not just the community, but cons and people who enjoy, you know, furry for whatever it is, to determine what that means and to clarify that. It's not to say, you know, oh, you should act fetishistic and, you know, wear kink attire or sex attire out and about at a con at a bad time or out and about at a safer con with kids around. Obviously, you know, don't do that. That shouldn't change. That is, by nature, a time and place for everything. But with Puphoods, it's not necessarily that everyone's going to be wearing it out and about like this. Some people wear it out and about at cons literally with, like, their shirt or hoodie or whatever attire on and wear it as, like, to some extent how you would wear a fursuit. And I think that in and of itself should be fine. But it all depends on the context. And some context you know, some context you don't know. But what a lot of people do is assume the context. And you can't do that for every single thing. You can't do that for situations like this. You can't assume that this is sexual. I think naturally if you would assume that this is supposed to be a sexual thing, like this... I don't know, man. I'd really question where this is coming from or how you're coming to that conclusion. At this point, too, when it comes to this drama, when it comes to this being discussed and people saying what should or shouldn't be a thing, my counter to that argument is we need to get to a point where people need to start writing essays about this. Let's go back to school, since a lot of people have skipped school and some folks at the 10th grade level can't even read at the 6th grade level, according to teachers. How about this? Instead of arguing about it in a 27 reply thread on Twitter, write me an 8-page paper on this. Intro paragraph with a hook, 3 body paragraphs. I want at least 5 sources cited in that paper on my desk by Monday. There you go. That's how I feel like it should go. Ain't no one doing that? I know no one's gonna do that. No one's gonna do that. But I feel like we're at the point where it should be that. Can you use Wikipedia? You can use it to find sources, but do not cite Wikipedia, okay? You gotta check those sources. But again, a lot of folks aren't doing that. But yeah, that's the homework. If Puphood should not be at a furry convention, okay. 8-page paper. Intro paragraph, 3 bodies, 5 sources cited, adding to your argument or against it on my desk by Monday. That's how it I feel like we should go at this point here, because social media is just honestly like bringing things back with how people are thinking. Like, people are thinking lesser and dumber and dumber. And it's just like we really should just like go back to writing papers and trying to have some sort of thesis and argument for this that isn't just I feel. I feel is valid, okay? If you are uncomfortable with Puphoods, that's fine. If you're uncomfortable with this, that's fine. You know what's an easy way of doing this? This button here, this button here, this button here. Do that. What's wrong with you doing that? Is that too much effort? Is that too many clicks? It's not getting you the validation that you want. Puphood's bad. I hate them. I think they're ugly. Oh, slay, Oomphy. Oh, Moot, you're so right for that. Literally, that's what it comes down to a lot of times. Oh, Oomphy. Oh, you're just slaying with the that's an old term. That's like 2016, 2017. Oh, Oomphy. Oh, you spin the facts right here. Literally, that's how some people are with this, and it gets me really fucking annoyed. But then again, the solution even for me with regards to this drama, I close social media. I go and enjoy the IRL part of the fandom. That's it. I opened Steam and see a sale for a game called Scum. I didn't want to be called out. I wanted to play Monarchs. Fair enough. Keep the hands in frame? No. No. I think Puphoods are ugly, but I couldn't care less about people wearing them. Exactly. That can exist, and I think that should be the basis for how a lot of things are. You can have concerns about them being in a certain space at a certain time, but that can't be for everything. This is not supposed to be kinky. The grass remains untouched. Dude, I'm like, I've been begging my landlord to fucking get the ants out of my grass and actually make it look nice, okay? Because I want to touch that grass so bad. I do, but it's just like they're the ants, and then it's dead grass. And there's dog shit in there somewhere, and it's like, I hate it. I hate tweed jackets, but I talk shit about them in private like a normal person. Literally, okay, another solution to this, if you really don't like pup hoods and are angry about it, I don't even have it on me. Burn book. Literally write down your bad feelings you have about it or what you don't like about it. I've actually been making use of my burn book recently because, truthfully, some people have been god fucking awful to me recently. And not like friends, of course. Friends have been wonderful, and I've been focusing on friends. But I've had some moments where some people are like, ooh, you've treated me not well. I see exactly what you're trying to do here. And so you know what I do? I write it down. I don't tweet it. I don't tweet it. The one thing that I learned recently that has helped me so much with regards to anything, do not act or speak upon anger, which I know is very hard to do. Even I've contradicted that very heavily, at least recently, even in this stream. But it's like, do not act out on anger. Do not communicate or let your thoughts be heard on anger. Think about it and reflect first. Take that moment, count to 10. I know it might not seem like a thing that you should really be doing as like an adult versus as a kid, but still, you got it. Something to remember. Also, hi, Lizarels, and I don't think I said earlier in chat, but hi, Bois. Can we get a shout out for Bois, by the way? Lovely bean I spent most of today with on a call in their stream. Go and check out Bois. They're good soup. I don't know where Bois is this stream, but I love you, Bois. Bois is really cool. Being angry is too exhausting, makes me want to hibernate. That too. That's the thing. That's why I discussed even the Puphood drama to the extent that I do, because I just... It's so worthless spending so much time on negative stuff. I know I do, but I try to talk about it in a constructive manner of how to, like, come to a conclusion with it. The conclusion with literally any of this, with the Puphood stuff, hasn't changed for me. It is time or place when it comes to anything, whether it's sexual in nature, intrinsically, or not, whether or not it's established a new meaning or not. Leave it up to conventions to dictate what should and shouldn't be happening there. Okay? And if something is happening that shouldn't be, report it to the con. Reach out to the con. When you're trying to judge whether something is intrinsically a fetish or a kink for someone on a case-by-case basis, you might not fully know that, okay? In the case of this, if you use this as your token example of something that isn't a kink or a fetish, even though it's a pup hood, that means the whole idea of grouping all pup hoods up together as being this fetishistic thing is thrown out the window. So now you have to judge it on a case-by-case basis. And you can't do that. You can't read everyone's minds, and you can't assume how anyone is using a specific thing. Just like me with the life jacket thing, I joke about it being the floaty fetish dog thing. Yeah, some aspects of it are fetishistic, but it's not something that I'm going to show on this channel, of course. It's not something that I'm going to show out and about in public. That's why I've lived by the saying, anime in the streets, hentai in the sheets. That's pretty much the basis when it comes to this controversy. And I don't know why it continues to come up, besides projected uncomfortabilities or not fully understanding the nature of it, or it just kind of comes down to I feel it makes me uncomfortable, therefore it shouldn't exist. And it just, I don't want to blame specifically the new generation, or because I sound like a fucking boomer right now. I don't want to blame new furries or the new generation or younger folks, but I feel like there is a clear gap in understanding, not just in critical thinking skills, but in understanding how the world works versus how it's perceived on social media. Social media and how things are and how people talk to one another, so fucking different than how it is in person, especially at cons, especially if you haven't been to a con. So that's really it. That's what it comes down to. And also just like, focus more on like improving yourself and what you want to put out there into the community. If you really don't want pup hoods at cons, work on making your own con. Work on making your own meetup. You could literally have a big rule that says no pup hood con, and you should do that. If you really want that and you want that space to be yours, go for it. All the power to you. That's what you should do. Put that effort that you have of a taste towards something and put it towards something constructive that you can make and enjoy. That's literally the lesson of it, but most of the time you're just not going to do it. Everyone just sharing their fetishes in protest of Puritans. Yeah, pretty much. But it's just like, you know, just focus on the good people around you, the people that raise you up. That's why you don't really see me engaging much with social media furry drama unless I do it on like a YouTube video where I discuss it. You know? That's why I focus on friends. Like Bois. I loved hanging out with you today, Bois. Liz likes my bussy. Look, I like your bussy. Okay, what are you gonna do about that? But yeah, this is really fucking cool. I really like what Good Boy Golden reached out to me with regards to this. If you want to use my Puphood mask as an example of the gray area, feel free. I'm trying to inspire a more positive outlook towards people who use Puphoods to express themselves / as an accessible and affordable alternative to a fursuit head, which literally this is. You know, it's a form of self-expression at the end of the day, and that shouldn't be invalidated. Saying that it shouldn't be worn because it is associated with an intrinsic fetish-based piece of attire, the same argument can quite literally be made about fursuits or mersuits, but you don't know that about how someone's wearing it. So that's what it comes down to. Also, Shameless, thank you for the 100 bits.
Camp to Suns Galactic, the trash fires of furry drama be more eternal than America's dependence on the petrodollar. Who can look into the mirror without facing the fire of themselves?
When you stare into the abyss stares back. Damn straight. Also, thank you, Shameless, for the 100 bits. I appreciate it. Really makes me want to go to a craft store and make one now. I want to get a Puphood just to like wear out and about. Not out and about, obviously, in public, but like at cons. You know, I'm not going to go out to get a coffee and wear a Puphood. Which, granted, if you want to, you know, I'm not going to stop you. That's more of, you know, I'm not your dad. I don't care. That was more of the point from like the original post that I saw. I know again, I feel like the nature of this post wasn't supposed to be, or at least the intentions behind the artist wasn't supposed to be, I hate Puphoods or Puphoods bad. But you know, how it reads from someone looking in may be different from how the intention is. That's why I feel like the follow-up post explains it. You know, just don't wear Puphoods, or do whatever the fuck you want. I'm not your dad. That's it. You know, they just probably wanted to make something that was funny. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, this was a really bad thing. You offended a lot of people because they might not have known. You know, I honestly, even outside of this being, you know, us versus them thing, I could have very well have made this mistake of making a meme that does, you know, draw divides between people, that generalizes people. And, you know, I might not mean it, but that's just how I might end up. But yeah, this is more of the point. But either way, with the follow-up to what the good boy Golden said, I'm a strong believer that what makes something safe for work or not safe for work is the intent behind the accessory in the context of the wearer and fit. This goes for both Puphoods and fursuits. Our communities are not so different from each other, the strong and stronger together. Literally, they pretty much just summarized what I had gone on with. It all comes down to intent behind the accessory in the context of the wearer. Like, where are they? What are they doing? The intent of what is being worn. How are they feeling? Intent, you can't really read. You can assume based on context, but you will never really know. And I know obviously there might be some bad actors that might say that, oh, their intent is to not sexualize something when they might actually be doing that, but I feel like there haven't really been that many cases where that has been happening. Still, regardless, I've been rambling on about this for a bit too long. Point being, my point still stands about Puphoods. People are going to have their comfortabilities with it. You can like it or not like it. Just understand to be respectful of those that do enjoy it. And when you do express your distaste for it, understand that there are people like you that feel connected and feel like that Puphood that they wear is a form of self-expression. That it is a safe for work thing that they want to feel validated and enjoy wearing just as much as they would wear a fursuit. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, just be courteous and conscientious of people who wear it, you know, just because you see someone with the Puphood on doesn't mean they're, like, evil or conceited. And also just understand, you know, there's a lot that needs to go into it with understanding context, intent, what is being worn, when is it being worn, and all these different examples of it. Keep in mind the example of Good Boy Golden. I fucking love their stuff, and I literally just follow them because I want to watch their stuff, and I want to see their Puphood. It looks really fucking cool. I want one like this. Honestly, I'd wear one like this. I wear a pup hood and I am evil, though. Those two are not mutually... Those two are... What is it? Mutually exclusive? Yeah, they're mutually exclusive in the sense where both can exist at the same time, but mainly different from one another. But yeah, just know. Let people do their own thing. You know, people wearing pup hoods at cons isn't gonna ruin the tour. What tour? The world tour. And if it does, you know, that's something for you to assess on your end. You know, I don't think the rest of the furry fandom or the rest of the community should stop wearing pup hoods because a few people feel uncomfortable about it. Because at the end of the day, it is not something that is going to negatively impede, I feel like, on not just the... Not just other people's experiences, but the perspective. Everyone, like, clings to this example of, like, the reputation of the furry fandom. Like, oh, if we let pup hoods be around in furry spaces, it gives furries more of a bad name. It's like, you care way too much about what the wrong people think about you. That was actually something I talked about in a video. I think, when did I talk about this? There was some... Oh, yeah, it was the AI-generated shirt video. Not to the extent of, like, wearing the AI-generated shirt, but even the shirts of, like, feral and horny, or, like, the I'll lift my tail if you ask nicely. Like, wear it in a certain time or place with it. But some people think that those existing will ruin the reputation of the furry community, which genuinely, I want to say this right now, the people that you are trying to please with regards to furries being seen the way they are not the people that will ever be pleased. Like, the Redditor chuds or like people on the internet, you're not going to please the conservatives making bills against furries, okay? You're never going to please them no matter what you try, no matter how much you try to curate or cleanse the furry fandom, okay? They will never ever be pleased. They want you to not exist, period. Okay? If it's the example of wanting to be able to talk about your hobby to your mom and dad, that's something for you to discuss with them and for you to explain and have confidence in with what is and isn't, you know, a part of the community that you join. If your parent brings up the whole pup hood thing, explain like, oh, you know, it's a thing, but this is my take on it, this is my belief in it, and this is what I experience with it. It's called communication, which unfortunately I don't think many people have skills with. Confrontation management, you know, it's something that I've been working on too as someone who's been kind of in the wake of non-confrontation, where that was cut off with social media taking precedence, taking importance in 2020 and onward, which is a whole other video that I want to discuss, how COVID affected everything with social media. People are really fucking mean to one another, like without reason, you know, and just trying to villainize people for no fucking reason. And with the case of pup hoods, they've been fine, okay? Literally, hold on, I'm gonna bring up a tweet from Nonstop Pup just to kind of close it all out, okay? Because I fucking love Nonstop Pup. They're like an inspiration to me, and I love their vibe. They're the only person that I firmly believe can type in all caps, and that's it, okay? That's it. They're the only person that I believe can only type in all caps. But either way, Nonstop Pup put out an excellent tweet about this, pretty much summarizing it and how I think it should go in the future. Should I yell this because it seems like they're yelling? I'm just going to read it, okay? I'm not going to yell. From Nonstop Pup. Love their vibe. Always wanted to meet them, but never have. At this point, I can't believe anyone still gets rage baited by anti-pup hood tweets. It's been long enough. Time wasted arguing with random people online is less time spent enjoying the bliss of queer self-empowerment and finding comfort in your own skin. Fuck 'em. That is all. That's it. Literally it. Focus on the positives, less on the negatives. Focus on queer self-empowerment and enjoying a very awesome fucking community, and less on people trying to draw lines in between the two. Now, I know there was another point about that original art piece supposedly being rage bait. I don't really know, because as much as I've talked about, you don't know the intent or intentions behind a action with like pup hoods, for example. You don't know if someone's wearing it for sexual, non-sexual purposes. At the same time, I don't know what the intent was from the artist who did that meme or that post. I'd like to think, genuinely, because this is me thinking the best of people, because I have made mistakes somewhat similar and I have not had ill intent with what I've done with it. I think genuinely they tried doing something that was funny, or they thought was funny at the time, but context wasn't understood with it, and then there was the follow-up reply of like, we're a Puphood or not, I don't fucking care, I'm not your dad, because they didn't want to get into it. They didn't want that to be the part of it. But again, you know, understand that Puphoods are still a point of contention in the community, especially online. Mainly online. I feel like exclusively online. It's never really been since like 2017 an issue at cons or an issue IRL, right? This is all just Twitter, right? But either way, that's my consensus on it. With the new Puphood drama that's happened this past week, nothing has changed about how I feel, and nothing has changed with the takeaway from it. Besides, understand that the lines are blurred. Nothing exactly is black and white with regards to Puphoods. There are some reasonings for both sides of it, but at the end of the day, focusing so much on it being there's so many different ways of understanding it and just trying to better the community from it or without it. I don't know. But just point being, let people enjoy their thing and let people have their intention with it, but leave it up to those who are in charge, or report it accordingly if misuse or mistreatment is being done. Okay? Worrying too much about what other people think is only going to make things worse. That is what I've learned too. If you worry so much about what others think, you're not having a good enough time on your own end. And also, at the end of the day, you know, if you don't like Puphoods or you don't like how they look or you have your own feelings towards them, that is entirely valid. But I think the basis for it should just be let people enjoy their thing. And if you're uncomfortable by it being in a space, just remove yourself from the space or go to another space. Make your own space. It all stems from the same issue of gatekeeping. Exactly. You know, this definition of the furry community or what is going on is not my furry community or what I enjoy with it. So therefore, it needs to change for me. And so that's where a lot of this controversy or discussion comes from, because there's a lot of people that want it to change, when in reality, you know, you can change it in a way of actually contributing to it. I don't know. There's lots of discussions with this and lots to go on about. I feel like I'm just repeating myself now. But point being, just let people enjoy their thing. Not everyone is evil who has a Puphood or is a sex pest. I'd argue that Puphoods, again, are changing in their definition or meaning. They're always going to have that intrinsic nature of being tied to a fetish or sexual stuff, but it doesn't mean that they are just for that use. And many, many furries out there are trying to blur the lines with that, not for the sake of trying to expose more people to sexual stuff, but because they see it as a form of self-expression and having nothing to do with the sexual part of it. That's it. And, you know, I think at the end of the day, leave it up to those who want to run these events to have it happen. Arguing about it over and over is not going to make a difference. It is just noise. And if anything, the more of this drama happening, more of the Puphood drama coming up time and time again, is only going to make it noisier and noisier, because even still, days after all this happening, it's still being talked about. Granted, from me as well, but I'm not really contributing to it on Twitter, more so on YouTube. But still, that's more of my takeaway with it. Just try to understand where things come from and how to treat it with bliss and fairness, and then just go from there. That's really it. After what, an hour and a half, finally cover the fully what was discussed. I think I did a good job with it. I hope. I need water. Me personally, I do, but only when it is in a con that allows minors, because, you know, it's a kink gear. And that's absolutely valid. I think, you know, at the end of the day, it should come up to the con to determine that. Like, at the same time, too, even at, like, full safe work cons where kids are allowed, cons still have the time for, like, the Moonlight Festival or for, like, an after dark event during the evening. So there is that time of being able to have it at a certain time and place. I even had this happen once with regards to somewhat related to adult attire. Someone had taken a picture of me when I was in, like, my jockstrap and, what is it, harness and fursuit. I was out and about, I think this was like Sunday evening, like 9-10 p.m. at FWA last year. And I thought, you know what? It's 9-10 p.m. on a Sunday. I would like to argue that this is a pretty reasonable point for me to be able to wear the attire that I want, the After Dark attire, in my fursuit during the con. And someone had taken a pic with me at the con, It was all nice in general. And then I just retweeted it, just fine in general. And then someone replied like, hey, Beta, you weren't wearing this out and about, like, at FWA, not at the Moonlight Festival, right? And then I clarified, like, actually, it wasn't at the Moonlight Festival, but it was after, like, dark. I used my best judgment with context of the environment around me of when it would be appropriate to wear that, to wear a jockstrap in a fursuit and a harness on top of that. Because clearly the intent there was to be more, you know, sexy looking, kinky to some extent. But obviously, you know, I wouldn't want to wear it out and about in the middle of the day or in the morning at the con. I chose the proper time and place for it. That's what it came down to. And they were like, oh yeah, you know, that's reasonable. That makes sense. And so that's it. That's what it comes down to for a lot of these cases. You have to let people decide on their end when it's appropriate. And if it isn't, let them know respectfully or report it. I don't know. But still, that's just what it is for me. I hate that you even have to catch heat for a choice like that. It wasn't even really heat. It was just someone asking, like, hey, Beta, you weren't wearing this out and about at a certain time, which I can understand the concern with that as someone who would not want to see that or not want that to be normalized to that extent. But also, like, I do get that that could be, like, a point of contention or annoyance where contention comes from that. It's just, I don't know. They asked me respectfully, and so I answered respectfully. And that came down to me understanding adult talking with an adult. You know, if you treat me like an adult, I'll treat you like an adult. But a lot of times on social media, things aren't being treated by adults like adults for adults. So yeah, you know. But yeah, honestly, that's just what it comes down to. I think having clear differentiation, and I guess even reading the rules for cons too, which a lot of people that create this problem don't in the first place, you know that certain attire is allowed and isn't allowed at certain times and places of the day. But yeah, that's pretty much the summary of what I wanted to talk about with the Puphood drama and it happening again. You know, I actually feel somewhat proud of myself for discussing this in the manner that I have, because not just with the discussion we have had today with it, but even looking at kind of what's been going on with these arguments. Am I more pink? What happened to the saturation of the camera? That's weird. But with regards to, like, specifically even my video that I did, the one intent or goal that I had with doing that Puphood video, the OG one that I did, I think back in like November or December last year, my goal with it was to explain everything as well and respectfully as I could from both sides, from those that don't want Puphoods, those that want Puphoods, what are the reasonings behind that. I went into it hoping to explain things in the best possible way so that whenever more points of this come up, it's only like new or additional stuff. Whenever the drama comes up again, because inevitably it will, and it has, I hoped that a lot of the same points that I discussed in the video were ones that people were making. And that's what I saw happening a lot with regards to this recent happening of the Puphood drama, where people are like, it's a form of self-expression, people are blurring the lines, it has more meaning than just it being a sex or a fetish thing. But also, leave it up to the cons to decide. Leave it up to the cons to decide what the intent or context is that they want. Pretty much what I talked about, even today, was stuff that I talked about in the video. And seeing that all kind of regurgitated online was kind of validating in the sense to me to know that I did the best job that I could have on that video. And I did a good job. Which is not something that I really think about, because I just go into videos a lot of times discussing what I want to and doing the best job regardless. But seeing, like, kind of to the extent that I had explained everything as well as I could have, and that a lot of the points even talked about now are still relevant to that video, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with how things turned out there. Why am I more saturated now? I don't know what's going on with this camera, okay? But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about with it. Seeing it happen again, not that I want to see the Puphood drama happen again, and I don't know if there's going to be a rightful conclusion to it or not. I'm just glad that what I discussed is still kind of relevant to how things go with it now. And not to say that I want it to stay relevant, but it helps people understand it better. You know, because I want someone to learn something from what I have to offer in my videos. I do a lot of discussion-based stuff, a lot of just yapping for hours on end, less funny moments and less funny stuff. I just want to leave someone with a better impression or a better understanding of how whatever they're clicking on or wanting to learn about works. And I feel like that video is going to do that, even still. So, pretty happy with that. It means that I don't have to make an updated video, even still. I technically did with a live stream. So, there's that. But either way, that is the Puphood drama in a nutshell. Do we go on to the next thing about Adam Savage, or should we wait and do that on Friday? Maybe we could do that for Friday's stream, honestly. I feel kind of exhausted right now. I feel really, really tired, but I know people want to see me talk about Adam Savage. I don't know. We're already like 2 hours in. I wanted to go into this doing like a short stream. This sucks though, man. I could do this on Friday, but I also wanted to turn it into like a high YouTube moment too for like this next week. You know, I haven't done a live stream highlight in a while. And that's also because, fun little thing about me, I have been going back and looking at pretty much my old videos and stream highlights to turn some of like the funny moments with like the memes and whatnot into like shorts and all that. And I'm looking back at the videos and keeping in mind like, oh, people didn't like the stream highlight videos. And I'm like, why was that? And they're like, oh, it's repetitive. But then I started watching them. I'm like, oh, these aren't really highly as edited as I would want them to be at all. Like, there's a lot of fluff in between that doesn't need to be there. Like, a 12-minute video that I watched today could have been like an 8 or 7-minute video if it was cut properly and if it wasn't kind of forced. And I feel like to some extent I forced some of the reactions and things that I did on the stream highlight stuff. So that's why I'm thinking about maybe revisiting it here and there, and that's what I want to do with the Adam Savage one. So, yeah, that's why I was thinking, oh, we could talk about it today, but I also honestly, like, exhausted 80% of my energy just from the Puphoods section and discussion. So, yeah. Have you made a stream/video about the Fursuit Parade thingy? I did a video on it. I did send it to an editor. It's just really behind with being edited, so it's being worked on as we speak. But yeah, we're still waiting on it. I should hopefully have it out either this weekend or next week. At the very least, I want it to be out before Anthrocon, so I gotta let them know about that. But either way, that should be out at some point. I think the discussion on it was really good, too. I was really happy with how that turned out with, like, oh, the feeling of, you know, poodling at a con. You know, I don't know why the decision was made for this. However, you have to understand that things in practice will be different from how a con is. And the other thing about it is just wait and see what happens. Wait and see what happens with the con. And also, if you're looking to see the Adam Savage stuff, I think at this point with how this stream is gone, I'm kind of looking for it to be a shorter stream. I don't really think I have the energy to continue doing streams of like 3 hours, 4 hours or so. That might change if I do more game stuff. But Friday, at the very least, if we don't do the Adam Savage stuff today, we'll talk about it on Friday. How about that? We'll talk about it on Friday, like earlier Friday. I'll do an earlier stream on Friday. How about that? How about that? 5-minute streams from now on. This day, this week in furry. Oh god, someone suggested that I do that. Like a this week in furry style streams or video recaps. And honestly, I don't know. I want to, but I also don't. I also really don't. But, you know, I think what I need to do is just, I think I'm just gonna chill for the rest of this. On Friday, we'll do the Adam Savage discussion. I know probably by then a bunch of people will have talked about it, but also if you have any more information about that, whether that's about Adam Savage, the fursuit or fursona that he has, or any information about him being a furry or something, please let me know so I can cover that in the live stream on Friday. Because I would rather not do a half-assed job covering that. I'd rather do the best job I can, and I don't think I can today. I am so exhausted from that yap session. I'm actually really kind of happy about how it turned out today. Damn, I'm figuring things out. I mean, look at how fucking sweaty and disheveled I look. I also have to, like, make my bed and clean my room. Literally all of yesterday, I spent it basically cable managing my desk. And I was so happy with how it turned out. Now there's like nothing dangling at the bottom of it, and it looks so nice. So nice. He got a fur lion mask. Oh, I'm going to Google as much as I can about it. There is a video that people were telling me to watch, but I didn't know if there was more context outside of the video, which I haven't seen it yet. Did you know Beta is a furry? Oh, crazy. Oh, no. I'm not a furry. I hate furries. But I'm the better one. Like me. I love seeing those, like, posts on Twitter of, like, I fucking hate furries, or this is why people hate furries. And it's like, dude, you're a furry too. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, the context of that came up because I had recorded, and it's currently being edited. Hopefully it'll be the video this weekend on the docu-series about the zoo sadist leaks back in September 2018. Because that one I did a really, really good video on. It's just being edited currently. Should be out hopefully this Saturday. But I discussed the whole reputation of the furry fandom with it. Because that's what people worry about. And pretty much, I guess, a spoiler TLDR takeaway of it is, like, we won't know how it turns out. However, I think it's being very misconstrued how it's being interpreted. Or how it's being seen, or what the intention behind the docuseries is, especially if you read the description of that video or trailer associated with it. But yeah, damn, I really like Good Boy Golden's Puphood. I don't know if he's offering at all. I would love to try that on one day. Even just try it on. But again, I can also understand because it's like a custom thing. You know, you don't want to let people try it on. If they're watching this at any point, God, I would love to try that on, or something on like that. I'd love to have a Puphood like that. That looks so fucking sick. I can't stop looking at it. It looks so fucking good. I love it. We can't see? Oh no, don't worry. I mean, I showed it to you guys before. Literally, this one. This one. This one, right here. See? It looks so good. Also, I forgot to go full screen. Not that there's really anything I can't be showing, but still. Yeah, this looks so fucking good. I love it. I love this so much. Furry drama is just a natural cycle that always happens on Twitter because that is what Twitter is good for, making people mad. Literally. Social media, especially Twitter, is not a place of healthy discussion or debate. A lot of it just results in outrage because everyone has their own interpretation of a space being, I feel, this is how I feel, this is how it is. I know we're just getting back into it, but, I mean, to be fair, we did spend like an hour bashing the whole Puphood drama. Might as well spend a whole hour gushing over how awesome this Puphood is. Honestly, I'd love to see more like this, so if you know any other Puphoods like this, please let me know. I fucking love this. I made it with the helps of Hallow Moon Suits. Oh, Hallow Moon Suits! I love their stuff. I love their stuff. I love their suits. They're super chill. I remember I had done a video discussing their worries and concerns about, like, the tariffs and whatnot back in, like, early November, December or so. And how they were going to affect fursuit making and prices in general. And I ended up doing that, like, you know, YouTube slop thumbnail of, like, it's over. Or, like, we're through. Or, like, this is a danger. And then I used Hallow Moon Suits, like, thumbnail, like, the tweet that they did out of context. And I asked, like, hey, is it okay if I do this? And then I sent them the video with it. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's totally fine. Just, like, make sure it doesn't have any insinuations of anything bad. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, sure. But they were, like, super chill and super cool about it. So, like, yeah, shout out to Hallow Moon Suits. They're pretty cool. Surprised there are not more custom design Puphoods out there. I feel like there should be. I feel like it's going to gain more traction the more stuff like this is talked about. Like, not just with the Puphood drama becoming as big as it is and talked about. I feel like that is going to normalize to some extent a lot more custom-made Puphoods. And people will act more than talk about it, you know? Not many people... I feel like even with this, with seeing stuff like this, or even seeing the original drama set piece pop up, there are going to be a lot of people who see stuff like this and are like, oh yeah, I'm going to get one of these, and aren't saying anything, obviously, on social media because they're smarter about it. So you're going to see probably at, like, the next con, probably more custom pup hoods or more pup hoods in general. And we're going to see it slowly more and more with time. This become more of, I guess, a not normalized, but mainstream thing that people are just doing because they're realizing, oh, Twitter stuff is just Twitter stuff. So yeah, honestly, I would love to get one of these. So if anyone has any info, I'm probably going to reach out to Good Boy Golden to see if I could get something made like this, because I would love this. This looks so fucking cool, man. This looks so cool. Looks so sick. Are you going to Denver? I am not. Haven't been to Denver since like 2022 or 3. Beta, summarize the drama in 10 seconds. I wasn't here for the last 2 to 3 hours. Okay, well, since you weren't here for the last 1 to 2 hours for the drama of the Puphood. The drama of the Puphood. Wow, I'm doing a great job at explaining this. So, summarize Puphood drama in 10 seconds. Started with this post, sort of the us versus them approach, even though the intent of the art itself or the meme might be different. Just based on the reply, I don't think the artist had the intention of starting the Puphood drama or drawing lines or doing black and white sides where people are just doing the us versus them. This caused a lot of outrage with the Puphood drama starting again. The usual stuff that I explained in my lengthier video about it. And pretty much a lot of people are kind of over and done with it and trying to gray the lines, blur the lines between black and white of like Puphood this, Puphood that. Puphood is a form of self-expression, and this is an example of it. And the community is kind of dictating that as a whole in how it's being used. And pretty much a summary of it, my takeaway, is that you got to read intent and you got to read context. Those two are the most important things. Pretty much what Good Boy Golden had explained here. I'm going to read his little tweet again because he actually replied to my post that I made. This quote retweet here, by the way, I'm not doing a follow-up video as far as I know, unless I turn this high YouTube moment into a YouTube moment, which, oh no, probably will. Pretty much, I had said, oh, it's happening again, just to show how many times this drama is happening over and over again, and to reference the original video that I did that hopefully I feel like explains things as best as it can from both sides of it. But Good Boy Golden, in their points about it, left an excellent explanation that I think everyone should keep in mind with regards to even considering Puphoods as a non-fetishistic thing going forward. Yo, if you wanted to use my Puphood / mask as an example of the gray area, feel free. I'm trying to inspire a more positive outlook towards people who use Puphoods to express themselves as an accessible and affordable alternative to a fursuit head. And then he did a follow-up reply. I'm a strong believer that what makes something safe for work or not safe for work is the intent behind the accessory and the context of the wearer and fit. This goes for both Puphoods and fursuits. Our communities are not so different from each other and stronger together. And that's pretty much the lesson. And they use this as the example of their really cool looking Puphood that, quite honestly, is non-fetishistic or sexual in the slightest. It is not in the slightest. And it looks so fucking cool. And I want something like that. Oh my god! It looks so fucking cool. And so this is an example of blurring the lines, and we're probably going to see more examples of this pop up more and more in the future. But ultimately, a lot of what it comes down to is arguing on social media, being different from how things are at cons. If something is inappropriate at a con, report it. Do your due diligence for the sake of the con and for the sake of furry conventions in general. You cannot control how things go on social media, and you can't please everyone. You know, reputation might be something to worry about, but honestly, something like this, if you're trying to please people who are angry about this, I'm going to be honest, you're pleasing the wrong people, or you're really trying to. And that is pretty much a summary of it, not in the span of 10 seconds, but more like 2 minutes or so. So yeah, that's pretty much art. Also, hi ZK Art, hope you're doing well. Good to see you. I don't like Pup Max because I don't like Batman. They look too much like Batman. Superman, best boy? Okay, you know what? Fair. Superman is power, okay? Not power. Okay, that sounds... Superman is powerful. Like, he's strong superhero. Batman is strategic. He is instrumental. I like Batman because of the instrumentality. Superman is just raw fucking power, and he's really cool. I like that. I like that difference. Every time someone in a pup mask says, "Is it okay if I take a pic?" I'm like, only if you do the Batman voice. I like your sense of humor. I like your sense of humor. That's awesome. I kind of want to start doing that now. I actually haven't had anyone in a pup hood, I don't think, at least from my knowledge or memory, which really isn't that great memory-wise. I don't think I've had anyone in a pup hood want to get a picture with me. I'd love to change that. If any people in pup hoods want to get pictures with me, don't be shy. I love you guys just as much, don't worry. If not more, because you're probably more chill. Compare a Batman mask with a pup mask, it's the same thing. No, that's a lot easier to think about. I'm Pupman. I'm not doing that again. I can't even do a Batman impression at all. But yeah, that was a fun discussion today. Thank you guys for coming to it. Either way, I think in a few minutes I will end up wrapping up this stream. I know it's kind of shorter, not really much outside of it. I know you guys want me to talk about Adam Savage, but truthfully, contextually this doesn't sound great, but I blew my whole load earlier this stream. I am like 10% energy left, all from the discussion that we had earlier today. I know, it doesn't sound great, but yeah, not really that energetic, and I really would rather give it my full attention to the Adam Savage stuff. So yeah, we'll do that probably Friday, this Friday. Deal, I'll be hooded up next time at Bunting to Con. Hell yeah. Also, Wolf, do you go by Wolf or Wolfie? I hear people call you Wolfie a bunch. But I hope you're doing well, and I'm glad that I got to run into you at FWA. I'd love to see you again at the next con. You doing Megaplex? Doing Megaplex? Also, let's get a shout out for Wolfie. Is there an easier way for me to do this without having to do the shout out command? I can't even do it. I'm not followed to you on Twitch. Okay. Ignore whatever notification comes up on your OBS, okay? Please and thanks. Yeah, quick shout out for Wolfie if we haven't already. There's plenty of friends who I wanted to shout out this stream. I do feel bad. I'm sorry if I hadn't given you proper attention in chat. I was doing my usual rambling. Just know I appreciate you. All friends that came by. Bra, Liz, Wolfie, all the friends that stopped by who I didn't say hi to properly. I hope you're doing well. Also, why, Thomas, why are you not VIP? You've been here for a fucking while. I'm so sorry. It also helps me see your name a lot easier, too. But I hope you're doing well, Thomas. Did we get a shout out for Thomas as well? We can wait a little bit to get a shout out for Thomas. We haven't already. I blew my whole load on pup hoods. Yeah, I would. Wolf, but Wolfie is valid because it's cute. No cons until maybe next year. Oh, that's fair. Look, hey, I feel you. I'm doing cons even though I probably shouldn't. You did shout out earlier. Okay, good. But still, we can still, because I like your stuff. I like lurking. I don't really... That's the thing, too. I like watching my friends' streams. I would talk more in them, but I just... Again, attention is very weird. I love saying hi, but I also don't like detracting from the stream itself, because I know sometimes the effect happens. This is not... I want to say this without any sense of narcissism or egotism or anything. Sometimes when I pop up in chat, all gears shift towards me sometimes. Where, like, chat will say hi to me, and they'll be like, oh my god, are you beta? And I'm like, I appreciate that. I'm really genuinely flattered. But I feel like that takes away from the streamer's stream. And that's something I can't control, and maybe I'm overthinking it to some extent. But regardless, I like to just mainly lurk in people's streams. I don't want to detract from what people are doing. I don't want to be like, you keep doing your thing. You're doing great. I love you. I just know how, like, chat etiquette can be sometimes, and then the gears shift towards, like, how is Beta doing? Oh my god, Beta's in this stream, you know? That's why I hated the whole, oh my god, TikTok does this thing too? I hate this. This is why you will never see me stream on TikTok. I tried looking at it like a TikTok stream recently. I was in one of my, like, furry friends, like, TikTok streams. I was like, okay, what's going on here? And so I go in, I click on it, and then there is a very evident fucking notification. Not something that they had as an integration of like, oh, this person followed the stream. But like, I joined, didn't hit follow. I just joined to see what was going on in the stream, what was going on in chat. And I gave a notification, BetaEtaDelota joined the stream. I'm like, ooh, nope, I hate that. I hate that. No. That is, now I feel like I'm put on the spot just for wanting to watch, just for wanting to see what's going on in the stream. Now everyone knows that I'm watching. Lurking doesn't exist on those TikTok streams, so that's why I'm never going to check out a TikTok stream again, because lurking doesn't exist. I love lurking, and that just can't happen a lot of times. So yeah, I do not like to suck all the air out of the room. I found a way to mitigate that, is to say, yeah, I'm dollar name and streamer is awesome. Oh, you know, that's, I might start doing that, Soa. I'm this person, but this person's really cool. I like that. It shifts the gears back to it. So you're so fucking smart when it comes to this. God damn. Do you want to do my job for me? There is still Gochujang on my arm, by the way. Still not there. Still there. Hello, Princess. Oh, Princess. How you doing on your vacation, Princess? You didn't check in on Daddy earlier, and he is very upset with you. Princess. Princess, Daddy messaged you at 11:53 a.m. this morning. He was hoping for a response back like no more than 5 minutes later. Why did you leave Daddy scared for your well-being, Princess? I hate how good I am at this. This is not a talent that I should have. I hate how long I took that on for. Also, shout out to Jake. Go and check out Jake, by the way. Lovely bean. I'm going to be hopefully doing a fun stream with him again next week. Very excited. Jake, I hope you're doing well. I miss you lots. We love you lots. Just remember that. Could we get some BetaEtaDelota hearts and life jackets in the chat for Jake, who's a lovely bean? Jake, I hope you're doing well. And also, hi, Goldie. I know I saw you in chat earlier. I'm so sorry. Hope you're doing well too, Goldie, my favorite Arcanine friend. Hope you're doing well. And Sammy, hi Sammy. So many friends here. God, y'all are so... I appreciate y'all coming by. I love you lots. I love all of you lots. I'm glad that I timed my discussion earlier, so now I can focus entirely on chat now and just chill and hang out. You know? I love hearing your voice too, Goldie. Literally, like, whenever I'm waking up in the morning, I will literally put on your stream in the back, because I'm like, ooh, Goldie's live. I can listen to him do his thing while I'm just working. I love it. Also, Goldie in life jacket 1. Ooh. Okay, I don't want to do this too much because my fingernails are getting a little long and I don't want to stab myself. I just tuned into the princess bit. What the fuck is this stream about? Ah, don't worry. It's just us going crazy. Going insane from the Puphood drama happening again. It's happening. Literally, whenever I think of... How many of you guys have seen Twin Peaks? If you haven't seen Twin Peaks, please do yourself a favor and watch it. It's so fucking good. I love it so much. But whenever I see, like, the same furry drama happening over and over again, I immediately think of that scene, and I'm not going to spoil anything for what happens, but the giant shows up at one point on, like, a stage, and then he goes, "It is happening again." And then just repeats that over and over again, and it's supposed to mean something. It's supposed to mean something. But yeah, I just think of it like that. It is happening again. I should just play that clip whenever, like, just quote retweet the like videos with that clip. It is happening again. It's so good. Oh, I love Twin Peaks. It's so good. Stream Deadly Premonition. I've never played Deadly Premonition. Isn't that photo game? Puppets are a little uncomfortable, but there's such bigger problems in the community. Yeah. 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 It was maybe 3 a.m. here, and I tuned into Jake's stream to see him bouncing his pecs. 10 out of 10 would view again. Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me? That is an excellent point to tune in onto Jake's stream. I tune in usually when he's not punching me in the face, in the teeth, and it's an immediate, like, little tear just Slowly falls down my cheek. I'm just like, oh, what's Jake up to? Hopefully he's... Oh. Or then I'll see him, like, mention knocking coffee off the table, like, bapping it. I'm like, oh, I wish I was that coffee. And then I just... Another tear. Down the other cheek, too. And it's, like, the most tragic point of my day. Infaltion? Oh, I wish I could inflate right now. I don't have my life jacket on me, Tibbs. But I hope you're doing well. I miss and love Tibbs. I hope you're doing well, hon. I miss your face. We love Tibbs. Tibbs is really cool. Guys, go check out Tibbs. He's good soup. Fellow life jacket friend who's worn life jacket in art with me, and I really like that art. Yeah. My go-to meme for something happening again is the clip from GTA San Andreas. Lol. I think, honestly... Yeah, that's definitely a good one. I think also just the immediate memes or GIFs that we would use for these specific situations all determines which generation we're in. I feel like. Well, granted, I feel like there's such a small amount of people who would use the it is happening again clip from Twin Peaks versus the aw shit, here we go again from San Andreas. God, what a classic. Still haven't even played the original GTA games. Probably should. I feel like some parts of the furry community see pups the same way that public sees furries, and they don't realize the irony. Literally. Literally. That's probably the best way to describe it, too, that I didn't even think about with it. Good boy, Kurta. That's, like, kind of ironic. It is ironic. It all just kind of comes down to, I feel like, outside of even comfortability and logistics of exposing things at certain times of a con, so many things are fueled by trying to keep the reputation in a way that is unreasonable towards folks that will be unreasonable. I'm like, maybe I just, again, maybe my frame of mind viewpoint with the reputation of the furry community is different, but anyone that I've seen that is distasteful towards furries, that doesn't really have the reason besides look at these specific examples, these gotcha moments, they're people you don't want to please. They're people you don't want to even be a part of the community to begin with. Like, see, furries are sex pests. See, furries use litter boxes. See, furries are getting banned from school. And they're just they're the people you don't want to be around. They're the people you're never going to please no matter what you say. And there are even furries that do exist that are that too, who I've tried to discuss things with, and will be so villainizing of anything that I say, no matter how hard I try to explain it. Like, they're villainizing of me, for example, of like, Beta's this bad person. I'm like, okay, well, what's this? And I try to explain it, and they're like, no, you're this bad person. I'm like, okay, did my best, have a good one. And they're still set. Some people are just going to be miserable. They're never going to be pleased. They're never going to be happy. And no matter how much you bend over for them, they won't change. They won't change how they feel, and you have to really think about that. I know as well, some sense of it is some folks want to please everyone too, as someone who does as well and has fallen into that pitfall of wanting to please everyone, wanting everyone to like them. It sucks. I will say that. As much as I've taken more of the approach of like, I really don't care what everyone thinks, and I've just embraced my inner weird of what I enjoy, my kinkier side, my adult side, there's still moments where I'm like, damn, this person doesn't like me. That fucking sucks. You know? But I also understand, you know, there's more to life than pleasing every single person, and I don't have the time for every single person, too. I gotta enjoy the people in my life, my own little bubble. So, yeah. That's it. But either way, I think it's been long enough. We had a good discussion today about the Puphood Drama stuff thing happening. I'm really glad that we did. I feel really exhausted now, but really happy with our discussion that we had. I think on Friday we will be doing, at the very least on Friday, we'll be doing our Adam Savage breakdown discussion thing, talking about that, because I really want to. Tomorrow, I'm supposed to do something with Two Piece for the paw review in VR chat, where we go over your guys' paws that you sent in to me. I'm thinking I would want to do that next week. I might have to talk to him and be like, hey, could we reschedule this? Because I don't have anything set up, and I don't know how to really do any of this in VR. And I don't know if I'll have the energy, but I'll talk to him about it tonight. So, worst case, pause stream delayed till next week. At the very least, the next stream will be on Friday, where we talk about Adam Savage's Fursona fursuit thing and discussing stuff. 2-piece like 1-piece, 2-piece like Dior, the best collie, one of my good friends who I've been very blessed to have gotten to know this year so far. He is such a sweetie. I love him so much, and I would love to put him in a life jacket. I'm just saying. But yeah, 2-piece is such a sweetie. I love him. But either way, we'll talk about that on Friday, do the whole Adam Savage stuff, and then at some point, either this Thursday, I'll probably make an announcement about it on Twitter or my socials, wherever, and then whether or not we do it Thursday or next week, but keep on the lookout. At the very least, I should hopefully try to get a video out this weekend, if I can. I don't know. But either way, I'm going to wrap things up. Let's see. Who can we go and raid? Who's streaming right now that we can send some love to? Love sending love over to some friends. Oh, we could go and raid Shen. Oh, Shen is someone that I met this weekend in VR too, by the way. I was hanging out with Jake and a few others, and Shen came up to me and said hi. He is such a sweetie. Such a sweetie. I would like to put him in a life jacket too, I'm just saying. But let's go and raid Shen. He's a good dude. I don't know what the raid message should be, but what should we what should the raid message be? What do you want to send him for a fun little message? Also, he's I think he's a Vulper as well, his model, which I really do like Vulpers. I like Freakhounds too. But he's in VR, he's chilling, having a good time with some friends. Don't know how long I'll be streaming for, but he's definitely going to be streaming for longer, so there's that. Don't know what the raid message should be, but just go and send him all your loves and hearts in chat and support. Could you inflate big and round? Put me in a life jacket, then I'll pin you against the wall? Okay, you know, I'm not opposed. We could do something simple like life jacket the Wooski. How about that? And then whatever little emote you want to add in with it. Let that be the raid message. There's your raid message. Go send that to Shen, who's an absolute sweetie. But either way, that's going to do it for me for tonight. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for just vibing with me. What's your favorite inflatable company? Candy Coated Squeak, or Candy Coated Kink, I think is what it's called. That's my favorite. But thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. This may or may not be a high YouTube moment in the future. Stream at the very least this Friday, going over the Adam Savage stuff, and then hopefully some more videos throughout this next month or so before my trip to Austria. But either way, thank you all so much for the support. I appreciate you guys lots. Have a good night. Take care. Life stay jacket. Treat people like people. Inflate if I could, and that's